Sports report come 5 o'clock. It would take an extraordinary effort from this game here to dislodge the news agenda when Mark is giving you all the results and the reaction to today's football at 5, Pat.
It would do, but it is an incredible story. But, you know, strange things happen in football. Nottingham Forest are near the bottom of the table just now, and owners panic when that happens. And also when the fans turn against them, it can be the end of the story, and that's it.
So we're underway. Manchester City, who have the chance, if Bournemouth fail to win, and they win by 2 clear goals, to go top of the Premier League, albeit for a couple of hours ahead of our next commentary after Sports Report, which is Fulham against Arsenal at 5:30. But in the sunshine here in Manchester, Manchester City in their sky blue shirts and white shorts are playing from left to right as we look. They've made the 3 changes from the team that beat Brentford. Ake, Doku, Gonzalez coming in for Guardiola and Bob. That pair are both on the bench. Rodri, of course, is injured. Means it's a first Premier League start for Nathan Ake alongside Ruben Dias in the heart of that defence. O'Reilly and Nunez are the fullbacks, left and right respectively. Donnarumma is in goal. The midfield of Gonzalez, Reinders, Foden, Savinho, Doku and Erling Haaland. Everton have made 3 changes. Those 3 changes, Grealish is ineligible against his parent club. Dewsbury Hall is back from suspension to replace him. Alcaraz comes in for Dibbling. Beto starts instead of Barry. Pickford is in goal. O'Brien, Tarkowski, Keane and Mikolenko, Alcaraz, Gay, Garner and Jai, Dewsbury Hall and Beto. Everton playing from right to left are in all black, and they have a throw over on that far side, which will just be lifted towards Beto and then dealt with by Diaz. Comes to the head of Tarkowski and he powers the header forward, and Beto will climb in the air, and Dewsbury Hall just tries to wriggle away from Matheus Nunes, but there was the right back just to stop his run, and he's helped out by Savinho. And in fact, Dewsbury Hall, Pat, has stayed down.
He did. They seem to get his foot stuck in the ground there, and he's holding his knee. And the one hope is he's rolling about a little bit. The hope is it's a bang in the knee. If it's a bang in the knee, it'll be okay probably. But we're just seeing a little replay here. I'm hopeful for him.
Well, the 2 physios are on. Tony Harrington, the referee today, stopping play. The Everton players instructed the Manchester City players to put the ball to touch, so then they were able to get the physios to tend to him. So we've got an early stoppage here on BBC Radio 5 Live, where if you've just joined us, you've missed the breaking news that Ange Postecoglou sacked almost, I think Mark said it was 21 minutes after the final whistle of that 3-0 defeat at home to Chelsea. So a 4th straight defeat without a win in 8 since he was appointed in early September, and Ange Postecoglou sacked.
Yeah, to be honest, there are people in different countries that will have him in a heartbeat, and I know he's not highly rated by a lot of people in England, but certainly Scotland and even other places abroad do look at him and enjoy what he brings to a football club. So good luck to the man going forward, and good luck to Nottingham Forest picking someone else who will hopefully last a wee bit longer.
Colchester United 0, Harrogate Town 1 is a latest score in League 2. Dewsbury Hall is on his feet. He seems to be walking okay. He's been taken towards the far side. Temporarily, Everton will be down to 10.
It's one of those ones where just because he was moving when he was on the ground, it's always a good sign. You know, when they don't move at all, when they're down after a knee injury, you think that could be really bad. But he's got up, he's hobbling along. Very noticeable now that Everton are playing really direct, getting up to Beto and trying to win the second balls off him. Done it twice already. It's caused a couple of problems to City.
Ball goes out of play as it was aimed and rolled towards Nunez, and Mikolenko, with his cropped hair, played in back-to-back Ukrainian wins during the recent international set of fixtures. It's he with a throw. Beto chested off, little flick inside by Gay. Beto passed the ball out wide. That was a rather heavy touch by Njai and allowed O'Reilly, it was quite a narrow back four for Manchester City in their sky blue shirts, to clear it away. Dewsbury Hall running sprightly back on the pitch and running forward. Now leaves it to Njai on that far side, the right, and now with Garner. He gets the ball back inside from O'Brien, plays it forward, cleared by Diaz, backpedaling to the edge of the area. Haaland comes to help out, gives it away. Dewsbury Hall holds onto it and does well in a tight space. Actually, Everton now have got every outfield player in the Manchester City half. Well, that was a high boot by Gay, and that is going to be... He's just caught Reinders in the face. It's going to be a free kick to Manchester City as we welcome listeners to the BBC World Service. So wherever you are in the world, it is a pleasure to have your company here at the Etihad, where it is Manchester City 0, Everton 0, and we're also in the company of Pat Nevin.
Very interesting the way that Everton has started this game. There's a real confidence about that team out there just now. But the manager's asked them to go out and have a little bit of an attack at this game. However, they're under pressure just now.
Savinho tries to outstrip Mykolenko. Alcaraz has tracked back with him, and indeed it'll be an Everton throw. I guess that's the importance, isn't it, when your fullbacks are going to need cover from the players tracking back and helping them out.
Absolutely, and that's what Everton want to try and get their wingers, their wide players. I mean, Njai, Alcaraz, Dewsbury Hall, players that have to go up high up the pitch. They want the ball in the last third, but if City get the ball, they'll push them back, and that'll make it hard for Everton. But right at the moment, it's been a quiet start from Manchester City. Not exactly all guns blazing at the start of this game. They just seem to be trying to feel their way into this game. 6
minutes played. The voice of Pat Nevin here on 5 Live, the World Service. You can also listen through the BBC Sounds app as it goes back to Jordan Pickford, all in orange, and he strikes it downfield. He's, of course, signed that new deal, a 4-year deal, after returning from international duty, where he extended his own England record to a 9th successive clean sheet whilst he's been playing for England, and he's 42, or his 42nd clean sheet in total for England, as the ball hit forward by Mykolenko towards Beto, and Beto in towards the penalty area, cleared away by Ake. Nunes can't keep the ball in play. Brighton, Newcastle United, Chris Coles.
Here's 0-0, but the first big chance of the game has fallen Newcastle's way. Yet to score away from home in the Premier League this season. They nearly did there. Bruno Guimaraes just wide from 8 yards out. Brighton 0, Newcastle 0.
Mykolenko waits to take the throw. Tony Harrington with his purple referee's jersey. It's a long throw into the penalty area. Bounces off the clearance towards the chest of Garner. Don't get the ball properly away. Everton are still threatening here. This is Njai inside the box, right-hand side. Does well, delivers the cross. Haaland inside his 6-yard area, heads it away. Everton have really started well here. Mykolenko's cross first time blocked. And then this is Savinho. Mykolenko still puts him under pressure. Helps it back towards Nunes, who clears it. But Manchester City had everybody back, as we will go to Selhurst Park, and happy birthday to John Southall.
Thank you, Ian. And Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth 1 is the scoreline. On his first league start, Ali Kroupi has just scored at the back post. Remember, Bournemouth can go top today, totally unmarked, headed in from 3 yards. Palace 0, Bournemouth 1.
And when I said those scenarios of Manchester City going top for a couple of hours, it meant that Bournemouth had to fail to win at Selhurst Park, but they're looking to extend their unbeaten run in the Premier League to 7, and they do indeed lead by a 0-0, and commentary of that is on Sports Extra. Remember, we give you a choice of listening every Saturday afternoon at 3. Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth 1 is on Sports Extra. Chesterfield 0, Fleetwood 1 is also a latest score in League 2. Pat.
Just looking at, Everton looked very good, and Jai looks really tidy in the right-hand side. Actually, he's arguably Everton's best player this season. However, they're going to have to get some pressure to suck up during this game. And so far, I don't know if you've even mentioned Erling Haaland's name yet.
No, only in a defensive description when he headed the ball away. Bournemouth going top of the Premier League. Bradford City are going top of League One. They lead Barnsley by a 0-0 at Valley Parade. And Accrington Stanley leads Swindon Town by a 0-0. Swindon, who was second this morning in League Two, but Accrington are ahead. This is 5 Live. It's the World Service. Manchester City are attacking. Savinho, right-hand side level of the area, nicks the ball back to Nunes. He plays it early in towards Foden. Foden chipped it towards the near post. Keane's clearance will go behind for a corner kick to Manchester City. Plymouth lead Wimbledon by a 0-0.
Well, Foden, they're incredibly caught between two minds. He was going to have a shot, then he changed his mind, decided to do a little clip to the back post, and then done neither, but he managed to get a corner kick out of it.
So a corner kick for Manchester City. It remains goalless here at the Etihad. The home side playing from left to right as we look. It is Foden, left-footed, delivered deep. Keane heads it away. Reinders tries to bring it under control. Went away from him. He's had to hook it high back downfield, and the touch by Savinho presented it towards Alcaraz, towards Njai, back towards Alcaraz, pushes the ball back by Núñez, who fell to the floor, and referee Tony Harrington straight away waves his finger to say no foul.
Well done, referee. And he just held his ground there, and the forward Alcaraz is looking for a free kick there. No free kick. The defender was just too powerful.
O'Reilly gallops his way forward. Now to Doku. Doku. Foden infield. This is Gonzalez. Also here is Núñez. He plays the ball towards Savinho, off the chest, lifts it back towards the far post, away from Doku, and Everton should clear. We'll go to Sunderland Wolves next. Julia Bold.
It's Sunderland 0, Wolves 0, but Sunderland thought they'd gone in front. It was Wilson Isidor's shot right into the top of the net. He was offside though, so it's still Sunderland 0, Wolves 0.
Manchester City are attacking. Núñez goes short and square. Reinders infield to Nico Gonzalez, helps it towards O'Reilly. O'Reilly shoots low and left-footed on the ground, just wide for a goal kick. 0-0. Let's get a Valley Parade to hear about that goal that could take Bradford City top.
Yes, currently Bradford 1, Barnsley 0. It was Anthony Sarcevic after the initial shot hit the post. He was there a few yards out, couldn't miss. Bradford City 1, Barnsley 0.
They've won all 5 of their home games this season in League One. In fact, I think they're undefeated since Easter at home at Bradford City. Graham Alexander doing an exceptional job as they look to take advantage of Stevenage losing at Sincil Bank. Lincoln, incidentally, with that win, that 1-0 win at Sincil Bank, going second. Burton 0, Peterborough 1. So Peterborough coming off the bottom of the table with that victory at Burton. As here now is Núñez, diagonal ball, Foden takes it into feet sharply, threads it through left-hand side. Doku looks for the first time cross, Need up in the air, headed away by O'Brien. Manchester City still threatened, 0-0. Foden looks to try and retrieve it, trying the rugby at Leicester. Molly Stevens.
Bath strike first inside 3 minutes. Hooker Dan Frost sails over for the first try of the match on his first start. Finn Russell misses the conversion. Leicester Tigers 0, Bath Rugby 5.
Hibs lead Livingston by a goal to 0 in the Scottish Premiership, and Hull City have just taken the lead at St Andrews. Birmingham City 0, Hull City 1. Hull, who are yet to win away from home in the Championship. Birmingham just 1 win in 6, but Hull City are ahead. Manchester City are attacking. Savinho comes in between 2 Everton players. Reinders tries to continue that Manchester City attacking towards the penalty area, and Everton are unable to get onto the ball, and Manchester City now, after a slow start, are into their groove.
Yeah, they've just had to warm up a little bit, but they're finding little spaces now. The ones that Man City love to play in, the inside forward sort of areas. Both wingers are getting into good areas. The ball's clipped into the back. Foden's getting into the little pockets as well. So Manchester City looking a little bit more like themselves at the moment, but Everton still a danger up front. One of the problems that Everton have got, they want the ball to Beto, but players have to get near to him. He's been a wee bit too isolated at the moment.
That's Pat Nevin, 150 appearances and 21 goals in his Everton career. And do you know who your last Everton goal was against?
Oh no. I'm going to guess Man City because you said it.
Ball given away, and Njai runs forward, enters the area. Beto on the slide, couldn't get there, and he slams his right hand in annoyance on the left-hand post, because that was, well, he had to stretch for it. Wasn't quite on a plate, but it was a really, really good chance for Everton.
When you get the ball in there between the goalkeeper and the centre-backs, I mean, terrible play out from the back there was Nathan Aki gives the ball away, and Njai picks up, it's slid across there, and it's, as a centre forward, you will wake up during the night thinking about that one, because you have to take a chance. Classically, they say, take a chance, get in there, and if the ball arrives there, you'll be there. He's just a step too short.
And you're right, it was against Manchester City, the 20th of April, 1992, in a 2-1 defeat.
Do you know what? I'm going to tell you, it was exactly the same as the goal that was just missed there.
Really?
I can remember the goal played across by, I think, Peter Beagry. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's been nothing ever wrong with your timing, Pat. As we will go back to John Southall.
Whereas Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth 1, but Bournemouth have started so well, playing with so much confidence. Alex Scott on the edge of the D just fizzed one over the bar. Palace 0, Bournemouth 1.
No other goals elsewhere around the country, 0-0 here, and Njai does well on that far side, the right to keep the ball in play. Gonzalez slides into the challenge, he's helped out by O'Reilly. And then the assistant referee on that far side will wave his flag and give that decision in favour of the home side as we go back to hear about a try at Leicester. Molly.
Yeah, Leicester 7, Bath 5. It took just 4 minutes for Leicester to strike back with a try of their own, scored by Ollie Cracknell, conversion kick by James O'Connor on his first Prem start. It's Leicester 7, 5 Bath.
Colchester United have just equalised in League 2. Colchester United 1, Harrogate Town 1. Savino plays it inside first time, and then the ball back towards Savino, and Savino, he's mishit it. As he made the right side of the 6-yard area, left-footed, he's just weakly stabbed it into the ground, straight to Pickford.
Two brilliant chances, and that's the area that Manchester City are particularly good at. And they get into great areas, but they've been a wee bit shot shy so far. Doku's looking good over on the left-hand side. Savino getting in great positions. Mentioned before that Phil Foden got in a good position, but no one's really put a good, strong shot on target yet for Manchester City.
No, we had that one from O'Reilly that was wide, left-footed. He's certainly done well. It's an 8th successive start for him at left-back. He's there in a central position outside the area. Now they do get it out to the left corner of the box to Doku. So Doku waits. Gonzalez goes square. Nunes will shoot! Right-footed. Both full-backs now have had a go at goal. This again was off target from Mateus Nunes. Right-footed, wide goal kick.
You'll watch teams play against Manchester City, and when they lose the ball, they drop back. It's almost like a basketball defence, around the kind of basketball ring there. But you can't stay too far back, because if it's 20 yards out, you're going to have a shot, and that's 2 easy shots towards the target that Manchester City have had. And if Everton sit that far back, when they've not got the ball, they will pay for it.
Doku in field to Foden. Reinders makes a central run. The ball though went back towards Nunes, and he had to go a long way back towards Donnarumma, who's come out boldly in his all-pink goalkeeping outfit to play it downfield. Savino checked by Mikolenko. That'll be a free kick to Manchester City. 0-0 here. Bournemouth are 1-0 up at Crystal Palace, and now a goal at the Stadium of Light. Julia Bold.
It is Sunderland 1, Wolves 0, and it was a bit of a howler from Sam Johnston in the goal for Wolves. The goal, though, has come from Nordi Mukiel, who took his shot. The keeper tried to get hold of it, and it has bounced over the top of him. Sunderland in front, Sunderland 1, Wolves 0.
Wolves, the only side in the top 5 leagues in England, still without a win, a league win, that is, and bottom of the table. Motherwell are leading Falkirk by a 1-0 at Fir Park in the Scottish Premiership. Strong cry of come on City from the home support, because 17 minutes in, it remains 0-0.
An enjoyable game, it has to be said, so far. I mean, Everton are under a little bit of pressure, but they're breaking well.
Foden, Reinders, tried to get the shot away first time, might fall towards Haaland, who, apart from that defensive header, as Pat Nevin has already alluded to, has been very quiet for Manchester City in an attacking sense.
I wouldn't be writing him off yet.
I wouldn't either.
I don't think anyone would. He's lurking. That's the word, isn't it? He's lurking in that area, and he does look fairly sharp, at the moment. And if you give him half a chance there, it's probably going to end up on target and probably in the goal.
When we were away with England, I was speaking to John Stones about him and just saying how unstoppable he seems to be. And he said he's got these superpowers. But John was telling me that the beauty of him is that he doesn't go looking for the ball. He doesn't go chasing it. It will just happen naturally.
Yeah. For finding space, sometimes the best way to find space is to stand still, because everyone runs around you. But you have to be brave to do it.
I remember Andy Cole saying exactly that about the great Peter Beardsley. That was one of the advice that came to Andy Cole when they played together at Newcastle. 0-0. Here are Everton, all in black, playing from right to left. O'Brien forward straight away towards Njai, up against O'Reilly, plays it back and in field. Alcaraz gets a little touch, and now it is with Keane, who comes forward, and again, that goal incidentally at Fir Park disallowed. So it remains Motherwell 0, Falkirk 0 in the Scottish Premiership. Everton is still playing the ball around the centre circle area. I think we've got time to squeeze in Maz Faruqi from Burnley Leeds United.
Jakob Brun-Larsen with a tame effort straight at Darlow, and Burnley won a free kick pretty centrally 25 yards out, waiting for this one still hopefully to get going at some point. Ian, it is Burnley 0, Leeds 0.
Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship, who are next to bottom. They've only had one win all season, have fallen behind at the Valley. Charlton Athletic 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0 is the latest score in the Championship. This is 5 Live, the World Service. We're also on the BBC Sounds app. 19 minutes played and it remains 0-0. Tarkowski wins the aerial duel against Haaland. Diaz, Beto, he put his face down and he's going to get the decision as well. I mean, he did put it down towards the feet of Gonzalez, but dangerous play, I guess, and the referee's given a free kick.
And well done, Beto, as well. I mean, there are complaints about him, his goal scoring, touch not always been absolutely the best. Nothing wrong with his bravery, nothing wrong with his work rate either. And it is classic, there are some centre forwards that they're not natural goal scorers, but because they run the line and push teams backwards, they develop space from the players behind them. And that's exactly what David Moyes wants Beto to do, and he's done it quite well today so far.
Well, they've got a free kick. It's 6 yards inside the Manchester City half. Garner to take it right-footed, float it out towards the head of Tarkowski, gets something on it. O'Brien battles for the ball with his back to goal, but then loses the ball, and it requires Tarkowski to get into a challenge and a bit of a tangle with Haaland as it goes out of play for a throw on the far side. And in fact, Tarkowski has stayed down. We'll get an update from Brighton and Hove Albion against Newcastle in the company of Chris Coles.
Remains 0-0, but Brighton's first moment of promise badly given away by Tonali to Ruter on the edge of the penalty area. Left foot shot that was heading into the corner. Good Nick Pope save to his left. Brighton 0, Newcastle 0.
There's now been a goal at Turf Moor. Maz Faruqi.
And it's come for Burnley, and it's come for Leslie Ugo Chukwu. A header. The ball was swept in, really nicely finished for him, beating Carl Darlow in the Leeds goal. Burnley 1, Leeds 0.
They needed that. They've lost back-to-back in the Premier League and 6 without a win in all competitions. Doku in field to Foden. Remains 0-0 between Manchester City and Everton. We're going racing very soon here on 5 Live 2 as Savinho cuts in off this right touchline, looks towards Foden. Garner now has gone down. The referee will give that decision in favour of Everton. Colchester United have come from behind. They lead Harrogate Town by 2-1. Newport County 0, Cheltenham 1 is another latest score in League 2. Molly Stevens watching the rugby between Leicester and Bath.
Yeah, Leicester 7, Bath 10. Now, we knew this was going to be a cracker, and a cracker it is. 3 tries inside 13 minutes. Sam Underhill puts Bath back in front. Conversion missed by Finn Russell. It's Leicester 7, Bath 10.
Great day's racing at Ascot today, Champions Day. We've got the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes coming up. Then at 4:05 we'll have the Champions Stakes. We've already had a 200-1 winner, Powerful Glory, in the 2:05. I wonder who will come home very, very soon, as John Hunt will call them. And we'll be going racing very, very soon here on 5 Live as Pickford's ball out towards Mykolenko. Jumping Mykolenko, unable to keep it in play, and it will go out for a Manchester City throw that is just tossed back towards Ruben Dias by Núñez. And here is Ake, Nathan Ake, making his first Premier League start. Did feature for the Netherlands during the international break, the Dutch international. Phil Foden, though, on the time being, is on the periphery of the England squad, as Motherwell have now scored, and that one should stand. Motherwell 1, Falkirk 0, after that previous goal just 5 minutes ago was chalked off through VAR. Pat Nevin.
We are talking about Phil Foden and the fringes of the squad. The amount of players that England have got in those positions just behind the striker, that top quality, it's incredible at the moment.
This is a nice sharp turn by Foden. Couldn't lay it out towards Savinho, and Gay is back there in his own penalty area to put it out of play. Clearance goes straight out for a throw. MK Dons, the leading Crew, by a 1-0 in League 2. MK Dons 1, Crew 0. They've won their last 3 of MK Dons. They're looking for a 4th straight success. Mateus Núñez, right corner of the area towards Savinho, faced up by Mykolenko, looks to go on the outside. Mykolenko does well, goes down onto one knee, well-timed challenge with his left foot, out behind for a corner.
Huge levels of concentration you need if you're playing against Manchester City. Any one of the front 5 or 6, if you give him half a yard and you don't follow your man, he will be found and there'll be a chance made.
Foden with the corner. Haaland was there. It's come off the crossbar. I think it was the player coming in behind Erling Haaland. And Everton so close to conceding there. Doku plays it back. Shot powered in by Reinders. Into the penalty area it goes. Runs away off the shins of Alcaraz. And Njai now holds on to it and does well to weave his way out. Excellent play by Njai. He's taken out 3 City players there. That was superb. Here now is Alcaraz. And really got Everton out of a a tight spot. An equaliser at Valley Parade. Naz Premji.
And what a goal. Bradford 1, Barnsley 1. He's in his own area, Reyes, clearing about 60 yards out, spots the keeper off the line, and he's done it to perfection. It's gone in. It's a superb goal. Bradford City 1, Barnsley 1.
1-1 in that Yorkshire derby. What excellent play from Njaya.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, the only possible negative thing you'd like to see him do it in the final third of Everton, but he did it in his own half, and it was a joy to watch. The best piece of skill of the day so far.
The marauding O'Brien runs forward on that right-hand side. Don't necessarily associate that type of play with Jake O'Brien, the Irish defender, but he went scampering away on the right-hand side to try and give a little bit of respite to the Everton back line. It came back to him very, very quickly.
I just trying to see, did it come off? I think it may have come off Haaland's neck or his chest instead of his head. Went there. Certainly hit a little bit of another player as it went through as well, so really decent chance there, very unlucky for Haaland.
We're going to go racing then. It's the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes in the company of John Hunt.
Yeah, two more glittering races to come. This one of them, one of the best of the day. The Queen Elizabeth II Stakes, and they're just underway. Keen with the lead is Marvel Man, who's gone striding on to the lead ahead of Fallen Angel, a filly who's had such an amazing year, winner of her last 3 starts, all at the highest level. Dancing Gemini is close up, and so too is Exactly. Now they're two of the bigger priced runners, as indeed is Tamfana in behind those leaders. A Lion in Winter, who was touted as being the most exciting of all the Aidan O'Brien horses at the start of the season. He's had a disappointing year. Can he end it strongly? In behind him races Alakazi, another of the outsiders. But then the second favourite, Rosalian, who comes next in the middle of the pack. And it's interesting that the favourite for the race, Field of Gold's directly in behind Rosalian. Kudwa's waiting with them as well. Docklands always runs well here at Ascot. He's next. Carl Spackler's under pressure. It's going to be a waiting game on Never So Brave. He's going to try and follow Field of Gold through. The action there on the outside with the favourites, but Dancing Gemini has come through together with Exactly, and behind them they're followed through by the Lion in Winter, and still there, but now under pressure is Marvel Man. Now we're going to see what the fancied runners have got. Rosalian's not got a great deal. Field of Gold's gone past him. Also moving forward is Alakazi with a bit of a chance, and over on the far side is Cicero's Gift. This would be another extraordinary success if he could do it. Cicero's Gift with a great turn of foot. A day of massive shocks. Cicero's Gift has won the QE2. A Lion in Winter together with Alakazi next, and Field of Gold finished back in behind them, only 5th or 6th for him. Ian, we're having an extraordinary day here of massive surprises. As you rightly said before the race, Powerful Glory won earlier the champion sprint at 200 to 1. Here, Cicero's Gift has won for Charles Hills and jockey Jason Watson. And when I last looked in, he was a 100 to 1 chance. An astonishing day's racing developing here at Ascot.
That is remarkable. 200 to 1 and a 100 to 1 winner. I'll be looking at the outsider at half time to see what could possibly win the Champion Stakes at 4:05. We'll be back with John for that second big race on what is Champions Day at Ascot. It remains 0-0 here. Pat Nevin.
I can never remember a race day like that where you get two such incredible outsiders in a row.
Chesterfield 1, Fleetwood 1. Chesterfield have equalised as a cross comes in from the left, headed out by Toskowski at the near post, and Birmingham City have also equalised. Their level in the Championship. Birmingham City 1, Hull City 1. Goal kick for Everton, and they remain goalless with 28 minutes played.
Yeah, but at the moment Everton are getting pushed back, and they're not being negative. They just cannot get on the ball because City are playing very, very well at the moment. And it is one of those things that if they could just get a little bit of a foothold, get the ball up the field, get it to a striker to hold it and bring other people in. There's so many ifs in that sense. And the reason being, they just don't get half a chance at the ball, or not had half a chance. They've tried another long ball. This time they've managed to hold on to it.
And from the thigh of Beto, Alcaraz able to play it back. Alcaraz once again, one of 3 changes made by David Moyes, then hits this ball out towards O'Brien, right-footed, goes around knee height, controlled. Gay of Senegal. Of course, Senegal qualified for the World Cup during the international break, so we'll be seeing Idrissa Gana Gay and Iliman Ndiaye. Indeed, he actually got one of the goals for Senegal in their victories. Handsome wins they were too against Mauritania and South Sudan, as Everton give away a free kick for a foul on Doku midway through the Manchester City half. Rangers Dundee United, there's been a goal. Ailey Barber.
And it is Rangers who have taken the lead through their Norwegian international Tello Asgaard, his first goal in a Rangers jersey. Lovely feat to create the space and an unstoppable finish into the top corner. Rangers 1, Dundee United 0.
The leaders' hearts are at Kilmarnock at 5:45. We'll have news of that into our second commentary that comes from Craven Cottage with Alistair Bruce Ball and Franny Benali. Fulham Arsenal at 5:30 after Sports Report on 5 Live. Half an hour played, 0-0. Bournemouth, remember, still going top as they lead by a goal to 0. Savinho now held up by Mikalenko, right corner of the area for Manchester City. Sky blue shirts, white shorts, playing from left to right as we look. Reinders now takes over. Doku comes into a central area. Ball played back towards Savinho. Doku comes across. His first time cross. Reinders goes to hit it first time, takes the deflection behind for a corner kick.
It's getting closer and closer and closer. Now, if you've watched Man City over the last few years, you know this play. They get around the 18-yard line, they pass. They'll look for someone to switch off. They'll look for a little half yard. They'll look for a third man run. And it usually happens. The difference at the moment is they're playing those passes quicker. That's why it looks better. That's why it looks more dangerous.
In comes the corner. And this time it's fisted away by Jordan Pickford, but Ghana Gay has gone down. There'll be a stoppage here at the Etihad where it remains 0-0. So we will go to Selhurst Park, a commentary game that is on Sports Extra at the moment, but keeping an eye on it for us is John Southall.
Good game as well. Palace 0, Bournemouth 1. We've had some brilliance from Semenyo, cut outside Munoz, inside Richards, denied by a diving Henderson, and then in the other end Mateta 5 yards out, headed wide. Good chance that Palace have a free kick over on the left. Palace 0, Bournemouth 1.
Play yet to resume here. To Brighton we go. Chris Coles.
Brighton 0, Newcastle 0. The game, which has been flowing really nicely, has just been punctuated by a couple of injury stoppages to Nick Pope in the Newcastle goal, to Diego Gomez for Brighton. Both are okay, but it has just disrupted what has been a good game so far. Brighton 0, Newcastle 0.
Ball goes up towards Beto, into the path of Dewsbury Hall, and Njai is to his right. Here is Njai, in towards Beto. Beto for Everton, just wide. Flag was a late one. Right-footed, couldn't hit the target anyway. It was a late flag. He's gone out for a goal kick.
I don't think Beto's realised it's offside. It's hidden in his embarrassment, but he's got to an angle there. But yeah, it's a bit of an angle, but you've got to get them on target. That's what goal scorers are there for. So he's had 2 chances. One of them was offside, but he's not managed to get any of them on target. But the thing about Beto, he's not stopping. He keeps on trying to get there. Lovely little through ball by Njai once again. He's having a really good game. Anytime he gets the ball in the final third, he's a real danger to Manchester City.
9 without a goal for club and country for Beto. Sunderland Wolves, Julia Bolt.
It's Sunderland 1, Wolves 0. It's the home side that have had a chance to double their lead. Trey Hume with a close range header. It just clipped the post though. It's Sunderland 1, Wolves 0.
Well, we heard earlier that Swindon, second in League 2, were behind at Accrington. The leaders, Walsall, have also fallen behind at home to Barrow. Walsall 0, Barrow 1. So the top 2 in League 2 are both behind. Leicester Bath in the Rugby Union, Molly Stevens.
Whereas Leicester 7, Bath 17. Cameron Redpath scores for Bath. He jogs towards the try line with a lovely little show and go to cruise over at Finn Russell with the afters. Leicester 7, Bath 17.
Savinho tries to wriggle his way through and towards the penalty area. It comes off Gay, and it will be a corner for Manchester City that they want to take quickly. Bristol Rovers 0, Tranmere 1. Tranmere, without a win in 7 in League 2, are leading there at Bristol Rovers. As this corner kick is going to be taken by Foden on this near side, the right. It's left-footed, again into a crowded area. Pickford has come, got something on it, and then Njai is the one again who will run it out of play. But in fact, it was kept in play by Savinho, who tumbles into the advertising hoardings, but manages to keep Manchester City in possession as they now recycle that ball out towards that far side for the left, and now towards Doku, who comes in off that touchline, level the area, early ball into the box and cleared away by Tarkowski. So we know that the top 2 in League 2 are behind, and there's now been a sending off. Grimsby versus Gillingham, 5th versus 3rd, Charlie Slater.
It's goalless, but Gillingham are down to 10. Romeo Hutton was the last man. He had a collision with Cabella. It was really just a case of 6 and 2 threes. I'm not even sure it was a free kick, let alone a sending off, but Gillingham down to 10, 0-0.
Jack Wilshere's first game as the Luton Town manager is at home to Mansfield. Nikesh Ragani.
And he's been denied the opportunity to get off to a great start. Jordan Clark brought down in the area. Luton given a penalty a few moments ago. Naki Wells stepped up, hit it low to the keeper's right, and Liam Roberts in the Mansfield goal saved well. It's still Luton 0, Mansfield 0.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. We have the top 5 covered for you this weekend live across 5 Live in our 5 Live games. 5 is definitely the magic number. We've got Fulham Arsenal at 5:30, and tomorrow in Premier League Sunday, Tottenham Villa at 2, to be followed by the small matter of Liverpool against Manchester United at 4:30. But we're watching Manchester City here, 0-0. Bournemouth currently on Sports Extra, going top of the Premier League as they lead 1-0. And we are, 10 minutes to go to half-time, Pat?
Yeah, I think Everton will be quite happy with the fact that there's not been that many clear-cut chances against them, even though they have, yes, been under the cosh for good periods of time. But as I say, that concentration needs to keep up, and so far they've been well drilled. But then David Moyes is quite well known for doing that. Just about Njai there, he had another piece of beautiful skill where you were looking away there just a moment ago. He closed out by 2 players, little back heel, got himself out of trouble. You sometimes look at Njai and think, do you know what, if you stuck him in, Man City's front line, or Liverpool's front line, or Chelsea's front line, he would look as good as anyone.
Yeah. Doncaster Rovers, 5 without a win, are leading Northampton Town by a 0 in League One. Who's just had a big chance at Turf Moor? Maz Faruqi.
Big chance for Leeds, their first real chance, and Brendan Harrison has had his shot saved by Dubravka onto the post as they search for the equaliser. He was found in lots of room by Harrison, but he couldn't find the equaliser. It's still Burnley 1, Leeds 0.
And it remains 0-0 here. It's goalless between Brighton and Newcastle. Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth 1. That's on Sports Extra. Sunderland still lead Wolverhampton Wanderers by a 0. Manchester City, sky blue shirts, playing from left to right. The ball by Gonzalez out towards O'Reilly. What a last few months that Nico O'Reilly has had. Called up to the under-21s for the first time in August. Signed the 5-year deal for Manchester City in September. And in the month of October, he gets his first England call-up, and although he didn't feature against Wales in that friendly at Wembley, or indeed in Riga for the World Cup qualifier away to Latvia, great experience it would be. A chance to catch up with him. I said, I just wonder what will happen for you in the month of November if it continues like that.
Yeah, phenomenal. By the way, have you noticed how quiet it is? It's absolutely extraordinary here. I mean, it is really quite extraordinary. And as I say that, the Everton fans start trying to sing to get the game livened up a little bit, but the expectation is from the City fans here, well, excite us, entertain us, do something for us. Sometimes it needs to come from the other side as well a little bit, and Everton fans, or certainly Everton manager and Everton players, they'll be quiet. They're quietly happy that it's been so quiet.
Yeah, most of the noise has certainly been emanating from that away support towards our right. However, the City supporters might be on their feet very soon, but Doko can't take advantage of it. Just couldn't force his way in towards the penalty area, and Everton are able to get the ball away. There's been a goal at Stoke. Betty Glover.
Stoke 1, Wrexham 0. This was outrageous from Sorba Thomas. Absolute rocket right from outside the box. It was on an angle, went past multiple defenders. Wrexham couldn't clear it, and into the back of the net it went. Stoke 1, Wrexham 0.
Both Stoke and Wrexham have actually drawn their last 3 games. Swindon Town, who are trailing 1-0 at Accrington in League 2, are now down to 10 men. Ollie Clark has been sent off for violent conduct. No other goals to tell you about as we've got 7 minutes to go to half-time. Pickford, all in orange, down towards Mykolenko, ducks underneath it, shields the ball away from Mateus Nunes, the Manchester City right-back, helped out by Alcaraz. Alcaraz will play it back towards Keane. Keane's forward ball. Gay is able to turn, and he's going to spread play out towards Njai. He's got a bit of room if he can control the ball, but he can't even keep it in play as it was always going away from him, and that goes out for a goal kick. There's been a goal at Selhurst Park. John Southall.
Oh, what about this? Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth 2. He's added again. Groupie, Eli Groupie, the 19-year-old on his first start for Bournemouth. Semenyo, terrific down the left-hand side, pulled it across, and the Frenchman finished it. Are Bournemouth heading to the top of the Premier League? Palace 0, Bournemouth 2.
What a story that would be. Crystal Palace, who had that club record unbeaten run of 19 games, ended at Everton. That first defeat in 20 before the international break, with back-to-back defeats, and for Bournemouth extending their unbeaten run to 7, going top of the table on a day where Ange Postecoglou was sacked within 21 minutes of the final whistle after Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 3. So all the reaction to come in Sports Report with Mark Chapman at 5. Luton Town 0, Mansfield 1, so a missed penalty for Luton, and Mansfield with 1 win in 6 are now leading, and details of it from Nikesh Ragani.
What a brilliant strike it is from Rhys Oates on the counter-attack. Ball played into the right-hand side of the area. He shovels the ball onto his left foot, curls it into the top corner. It's Luton 0, Mansfield 1.
And Jai dispossesses Doku, will run forward, and has got space to run into for Everton. He's got black shirts flooding through the midfield as well. Kolo Toure looks animated. One of those shirts is Gay. Gay in towards the penalty area, pulls it back. He looked towards Alcaraz. That was a very important interception. I think it was from Gonzalez. But Everton have won it back through Njai. Great feet again by Njai! And the right-footed effort tipped over by Donnarumma. That was wonderful play by Njai.
He's special, isn't he? He's very, very special. I mean, we know we've got a lot of talented players out there, you know, good with their feet and can dribble. You know, both teams have got wingers, etc. Njai looks a cut above at the moment. He really does look very, very special. Now he's getting very few opportunities in the final third because Everton are under a little bit of pressure. But when he runs at players, the speed of his feet are absolutely frightening. Well, they are if you're a fullback.
We're going to the Hawthorns in a moment where there's been a goal. We're going to the Amex in a moment where there's been a goal. Cardiff 0, Reading 1, Stockport 1, Exeter 0. Other goals elsewhere. MK Dons now lead Crewe by 2-0. Everton, though, have this corner kick on that right-hand side. And then just before that Dewsbury Hall was going to take it, referee Tony Harrington has spotted something and has just had a word as there's a bit of pushing and shoving going on. I think Doku is trying to prevent O'Brien from hassling Donnarumma. A lot of jostling taking place. Dewsbury Hall clips over the corner. Donnarumma's outstretched hand gets something on it to pour it away. Lifted back by Gay, drops on the area. A lovely, effortless control just off the top of the boot by Njai. He is a joy to watch. Here is Garner for Everton. They're forced back. It remains 0-0. Brighton then, Chris Coles.
Brighton have the goal. They lead Newcastle by 1-0. Danny Welbeck scores it, beautifully found by Ruter. Couldn't have played the ball with any better pace. Welbeck lifted it over Pope. Brighton 1, Newcastle 0.
Haaland picks up, plays it towards Reinders. Man over is Doku. Good save by Pickford. And then the ball is ushered away to safety by Mykolenko. That was a swift break by Manchester City, but Everton defended it well.
Yeah, it's a swift break, but poor play by Garner. He got caught in the midfield there. 3 players around him, tries to pass it by Haaland, fails miserably to do that. Haaland's on the break, not a phrase you want to hear if you're an Evertonian. Decent chance there for Doku, well saved by Pickford. It just broke lucky for Everton there, so just at the end of this half, chances for both sides.
Pickford with a save from the legs to keep out Doku. Corner kick from Foden, left-footed into the penalty area, headed away by Keane, headed back by Reinders in towards the penalty area, repelled by the head of Tarkowski, and then a foul given away by Doku. He's been waiting patiently. John Akers.
Goal for West Bromwich Albion. West Brom 1, Preston 0, and it's a screamer. Mikey Johnson from 25 yards, bit of swaz on it, goalkeeper's near post, but brilliant. West Brom 1, Preston 0.
He's got that in his locker, hasn't he, Mikey Johnston?
Yep, fantastic. I'd go Louis rather than Swaz. Bend and curling the ball for those uninitiated.
2 minutes to go to half-time, and we are finally up to date here on 5 Live as Pickford will go downfield, and O'Reilly able to just to run it away from Beto. Collins wrestled Doku to the floor, and that will be a free kick to Manchester City. I was speaking to a huge Evertonian ahead of the game, and they were telling me that they've not had much success in the city of Manchester since Brian Oviedo scored at Old Trafford in December 2013, and that's 24 trips for those Evertonians down the East Lancs Road without seeing their side win either at Manchester City or Manchester United?
They've still turned up in large numbers over there, filled out their accommodation.
Yeah, they have. All 3 tiers of it in that south stand away towards our right-hand side. Wigan Athletic are down to 10 in League One. Costello has been sent off as they're currently drawing 0-0 at home to Port Vale. As Doku teasing his way towards Njai. His cross, though, is blocked behind for a corner kick. It goes. Got to say, Everton, when they've doubled up, have defended well in that area.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, the work rate you're going to get out for your wingers, you mentioned it very, very early on, but Alcaraz come back on the left-hand side, and certainly Njai, whatever he's done and wherever he's got the ball, he's looked fantastic, even if it's his own goal line.
Foden with the outswinging corner, and the header was off target. Nathan Ake was the player who'd got forward from the back, and his header wide of the right-hand post as we're about to find out how much added on time there will be. I think it's going to be 2 minutes of added time here at the Etihad. 0-0.
Yeah, it's a good cross there, and a really dangerous area. The Man City have looked very dangerous. He's not caught it well, though. Again, off the shoulder of Nathan Ake. He's been out for a while, so understandable why he's not as clean as anything, and you're absolutely spot on. 2 minutes will be added just now, and I think at this point in time, Everton will probably be the happier team, even though probably slightly more chances of falling to Man City. But the game plan's worked.
Ball up towards Beto, making a nuisance of himself. Tried to nick it into the path of Alcaraz. Just taken away from him. He's actually pulled back his right foot. Mikalenko with the cross. Dewsbury Hall was there. Gonzalez threw himself into the challenge. Haaland running back. Pat's right. Manchester City have had the most chances. O'Reilly, Nunes off target, and they've had a header against the crossbar. Reinders a deflected shot wide. Pickford making the save with his legs from Doku. But then Everton have had 2 big efforts at the other end, and Beto sliding in, just couldn't connect, and then Donnarumma making that fingertip save to tip it over from Njai.
Yeah, down the right-hand side there. So, I mean, if you're playing away at Manchester City, you've got to be fairly pleased with that. Get to half-time, game plan sort of working, not being completely overrun. I mean, Man City have not been in any way bad. They've been okay. They've created sort of chances, but you know what Man City like to do? They need to keep on going at that pace, keep on zipping it along, just wait for the moment of, actually mental or physical tiredness. It can be either of the two. When that happens, they have players to strike. But if Everton could score and a little bit of break, it would give them some lift, and they might survive.
In the early game in League One, Peterborough's victory at Burton by 1-0 actually took them off the bottom of the table. Blackpool replaced them, but Blackpool have just taken the lead at home to Wycombe Wanderers. Blackpool 1, Wycombe 0 is a latest score here on 5 Live in the World Service. We're in stoppage time. It remains 0-0. Brighton and Hove Albion lead Newcastle United by 1-0. Burnley 1-0 up at home to Leeds United. Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth 2 is the commentary on Sports Extra. Bournemouth going top of the Premier League as Savino in towards the penalty area shoots, and the ball is spooned behind for a corner kick. Colchester now lead Harrogate 3-1. Sunderland still lead Wolves by 1-0 elsewhere.
Well, it was unorthodox, so it was taken away there, but the touch of Savino was brilliant. He leaves Mikalenko for dead, and he's got the awareness to go and get himself on target. Zips it very low, and it is a corner.
Foden with the corner. Haaland tries to meet it at the near post, can't get there, and Garner volleys the ball away. Plymouth Argyle 1, Wimbledon 1 is a latest score as well in League One. There is the half-time whistle here at the Etihad, and we're goalless between Manchester City and Everton, and both sides have had chances, Pat Nevin.
They have, and quite diverting a game anyway. I mean, the chances either side, you'd say, yeah, most of it's to Manchester City, but Everton will be very pleased. Some very, very good play there, but you can't take your eyes off him. Njai, he's one of those players, if you're not supporting either team, you're thinking, can I see him the ball again as soon as possible? Because every time he does it, he does something exciting. But the man who missed to make the changes now is Pep Guardiola, because there was a real spring in his step of Davy Moyes as he walked off there at 0-0.
And every right to do so as well. Charlton Athletic have just got a second goal in stoppage time at the Valley. They now lead Sheffield Wednesday by 2-0. But in our commentary game here at the Etihad, it is Manchester City 0, Everton 0.
Earlier, Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 3. Ange Postecoglou sacked straight after the game at the City ground. Lee Blakeman, our reporter, is still there. We will head there very shortly once we've done all the half times. On the field, the story in the Premier League at the moment is Bournemouth are going top of the table. John Southall.
Absolutely. Palace 0, Bournemouth 2. What a 45 minutes for Bournemouth and Eli Groupie, the 19-year-old, on his first league start for Bournemouth. His first goal, a free header at the back post. His second, Semenyo, went flying down the left-hand side. Cross cleared by Gahey to Groupie, 12 yards out, first time strike. Henderson got a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. His third goal of the season. 2 chances for Palace. Mateta with both of them. The first one a header wide from 6 yards. The second right on half-time, denied by Petrovic in the Bournemouth goal. So as it stands, as you say, Bournemouth are heading top of the Premier League. Palace 0, Bournemouth 2.
Bradford are heading top of League One. They've got a second at home to Barnsley. 4 minutes into first half stoppage time. Stephen Humphreys has got that. Bradford 2, Barnsley 1. And in the Championship, Hull, who are yet to win away in the league this season, look on course to do that at half-time at St Andrews. Regan Slater has got their second. It is Birmingham 1, Hull 2. Back to the Premier League. Maz Faruqi at Turf Moor.
It is Burnley 1, Leeds 0 at half-time. Not a match of the highest quality so far going forward, but the 2 bright points resulting in the Burnley goal, and then the passage of play that almost brought the Leeds equaliser. The cross from the right from Walker for the goal. Great height, great place for Leslie Ugo Chukwu to attack. Darlow with no chance. Aronson then seeing his shot when he was in lots of space, edge of the Burnley area, saved by the body of Dubravka onto the post. So at half-time, Burnley lead by a goal to 0.
As things stand, Wolves are going to be 5 points from safety by the end of today. Julia Bold.
It's Sunderland 1, Wolves 0. The only goal so far, Nordic Mukiel, shot from the left-hand side, and Wolves keeper Sam Johnston won't want to watch it back. He went low to catch it. The ball clipped his leg. It went through and hit the back of the net. It's been all Sunderland as well. Wolves have offered very little up front. In fact, Sunderland should be well out of sight. They've had one offside from Isidore, and also Dan Ballard has just had a head on the end of a corner. It was caught, though, by Johnston at the last second. Wolves really struggling. It's Sunderland 1, Wolves 0.
Get details of that Bradford goal in League One, Naz.
Yes, Bradford 2, Barnsley 1. The half-time whistle's just gone. Free kick into the box, and Stephen Humphreys with a clever back heel past the Barnsley goalkeeper. It is half-time, and it is Bradford City 2, Barnsley 1.
Half-time at Brighton, where the home side lead 1-0 against Newcastle. Chris Coles.
Thanks to Danny Welbeck's goal late in the half, made by a perfect route-air pass, coaxed Pope off his line. Welbeck saw him coming, little dink over the top, lovely finish, and deserved for Brighton, who have been the more eye-catching. Newcastle lacking a creative spark, their best chance right at the death. A free kick from Tonali, headed over by Voltemada. Brighton 1, Newcastle 0.
Last night in the Championship, Middlesbrough beat Ipswich 2-1. This lunchtime, Oxford 1, Derby 0, QPR 1, Millwall 2, Southampton 0, Swansea 0. Borough's win last night means Coventry need to win at home to Blackburn to go back to the top of the table. They aren't doing at the moment. Pat Murphy.
No, it's 0-0. 3 close calls in Blackburn's penalty area in the first 5 minutes. We awaited the goal fest. It didn't happen. Blackburn got into the game, especially down the flanks. Rushworth saved brilliantly, while Avag's crucial header denied the away side a goal. Coventry 0, Blackburn 0.
West Brom have struggled at home this season, going well so far though. John Akers.
They are going well. West Brom 1, Preston 0. They deserve it on the balance of play and the amounts of effort at goal, and what an effort at goal from the Irishman Mikey Johnston, who strike separates the two sides. 25 yards out, curling shot outside of the foot, beats the keeper at the near post. It was brilliant. It's West Brom 1, Preston 0.
Liam Manning's Norwich take on his former club Bristol City this afternoon. Mark Webber.
Norwich City 0, Bristol City 0. A frustrating 45 for two teams with flailing form. Bristol City closest when Neto Borg hit the post with a curler through a crowded area. Norwich are just too reliant on Josh Sargent. Only showed promise when he had the ball, and a couple of shots easily contained by the keeper. Liam Manning will probably be happy with a point. Norwich City 0, Bristol City 0.
Boston on the table, Sheffield United at home to Watford. Mike Maine.
0-0 at the moment, again in the point. They are the better side as well. Sheffield United, McCallum's dipping volley. McGuinness and Tanganga have both had headers safe from a corner as well. And just a quick one with all the talk about Forest, it might have been forgotten. Javi Grazia's back in the dugout at Watford, his first game in charge, an 18th permanent Hornets appointment in the last decade, yet to create anything better than half a chance though. Sheffield United 0, Watford 0.
Stoke lead Wrexham at the break. Betty Glover.
Yes, Stoke go into the break the happier side by a long shot, thanks to that Sorba Thomas goal, one that Wrexham boss Phil Parkinson will be so disappointed with. Thomas whipped the ball into the area, it eluded absolutely absolutely everybody and bounced into the back of the net. Wrexham have had their fair share of chances though. Longman going agonisingly wide. They should have had the opener, but it is Stoke 1, Wrexham 0.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Birmingham 1, Hull 2 at the break. Told you about the goal that put Hull ahead in first half stoppage time. Earlier, a Jack Robinson own goal had given them a 1-0 lead. Jay Stansfield's 5th of the season, equalising for Chris Davies' side. Charlton leads Sheffield Wednesday by 2-0. Sonny Carey with his 3rd of the season, and Reece Burke in first half stoppage time getting the goals there for Nathan Jones' side. Earlier in League 1, Burton 0, Peterborough 1, Lincoln 1, Stevenage 0. We've heard from Valley Parade where Bradford lead Barnsley by 2-1 at the break. Nikesh Raghani's watching Jack Wilshere's first game in charge of Luton.
And at half-time, it's Luton 0, Mansfield 1. Wilshere's first half in charge could and should have been so much better for the home side. After a nervy start, they created several really good chances. Jordan Clark hit the post. Naki Wells had a penalty saved. And then just before half-time, completely against the run of play, Mansfield took the lead after a wonderful left-footed curler from Rhys Oates on the edge of the area, finding the top corner. Mansfield could have had another, but with Will Evans shot just over from close range in stoppage time. At half-time, it's Luton 0, Mansfield 1.
Elsewhere in League 1, Peterborough's win earlier dropped Blackpool to the bottom of the table, but they lead at the break 1-0 against Wickham. Ashley Fletcher's 3rd of the season. The difference between the two sides might be a surprise at Cardiff this afternoon. Reading haven't won away in the league this season, but they lead at the break by a 0-0. Lewis Wing got it, 3 for the season for him. Doncaster have lost 4 of 5 in the league, but they lead at the break as well, a 0-0 against Northampton. Lauren Tollage's 7th of the season put Plymouth ahead at home to AFC Wimbledon. The visitors equalised on the stroke of half-time. It's goalless between Rotherham and Leyton Orient. Stockport lead Exeter by a 0-0. Nathan Lowe's 5th of the season, although they're still playing at Edgeley Park in the first half, and it's Wigan 0, Port Vale 0, and Wigan are down to 10. In League 2, earlier, Cambridge 2, Bromley 1, Salford 1, Oldham 0. At 3 o'clock, we're at Blundell Park for Grimsby against Gillingham. Charlie Slater.
Where it's 0-0, but Gillingham are down to 10 and have been from the 33rd minute when Romeo Hutton was sent off after becoming entangled with a Grimsby striker. He was the last man. To be honest, I'm not even sure it was a free kick, but the moment that the referee blew his whistle, he left himself no choice. Red card, silly really. Very good game though, just lacks a goal. Grimsby 0, Gillingham 0.
Swindon in second are also down to 10 at Accrington, and they trail by a 0-0. Paddy Madden got the goal there. It's Barnet 0, Notts County 0. Bristol Rovers 0, Tranmere 1. Tranmere haven't won in their last 7 in the league, but they lead at the break. Chesterfield 1, Fleetwood 1. Colchester are 3-1 up at home to Harrogate. They did trail by a 0-0, but Harry Anderson has hit a hat-trick there for Danny Cowley's side. They're 3-1 up at the break. MK Dons going for their 4th straight win in the league. A 2-0 up at home to Crewe. Alex Gilby got the 2nd, 5 for the season for him. In the battle between the bottom 2, it's going the way of Cheltenham at the moment. Newport 0, Cheltenham 1. Goalless between Shrewsbury and Crawley, and the leaders Walsall, unbeaten in 8, trail at the break at home to Barrow. Walsall 0, Barrow 1. In the National League earlier, Solihull Moors 2, Braintree 0. At 3 o'clock, all of these half-time. Aldershot 1, Tamworth 1. Altrincham 1, Woking 2. Borehamwood 0, Eastleigh 0. Also goalless between Boston and Scunthorpe, and Brackley Town and Gateshead, although Brackley Town are down to 10 in that. Southend are 2-0 up at Morecambe. Rochdale 3-0 up at home to Yeovil. Truro and FC Halifax are goalless, and it's York 2, Wealdstone 0. Into the Scottish Premiership. What is this, Ailey Barber? Rangers lead at half-time at Ibrox.
They do indeed, and it has been their most fluid performance certainly in the league this season. They have completely dominated, and they took the lead through Telo Asgard's first goal since arriving in Glasgow. Lovely bit of footwork and an unstoppable finish. He's also been denied twice by really strong saves. There are still vulnerabilities with Rangers in the transition, but United's quality on the ball just has been so poor to even try to exploit it. Rangers, they have been so comfortable. They really should be further ahead, but at the break it is much to the delight of the supporters here at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Dundee United 0.
Hibs lead Livingston by a 0-0. Motherwell are 1-0 up on Falkirk. It's goalless between St Mirren and bottom of the table Aberdeen. Kilmarnock Hearts gets underway at 5:45. In the Championship, Arbroath 0, St Johnstone 1, Ayr 1, Morton 0. Partick against Ross County, and Queen's Park and Airdrieonians are both goalless. Alloa and East Fife as we go into League 1, that's goalless, as is Cove Rangers and Stenhousemuir. Inverness 1, Kelty Hearts 2, and Montrose 0, Hamilton 1. In Scottish League 2, Annan 1, Stirling 2, Dumbarton 1, Spartans 2, East Kilbride 3, Elgin 0, Edinburgh City 1, Stranraer 2 and Forfar 0. Clyde 0. Both games of cricket today ruined by the weather. England's men against New Zealand in the T20, that was abandoned. New Zealand and Pakistan in the Women's World Cup. Pakistan 92 for 5 when the rain came there. Back to the City Ground. Big story of the day in the Premier League. Ange Postecoglou sacked 21 minutes after the final whistle went, after they were beaten 3-0 at home by Chelsea. Lee Blakeman still in the tunnel.
And what it's been like down here since the game ended, Mark, I've just never seen anything like it in nearly 15 years of covering football for the BBC. I'm still just a metre outside the home team changing room. I finished with you at full time, came down the stand, made my way to the tunnel. As I arrived, another broadcaster just mouthed to me, he's been sacked. The statement dropped at the same time on the club's social media channels, and then down here it was just frantic activity. Ange Postecoglou was seen leaving the dressing room area. Media team were just on their phones and trying to just cobble something together. The players were led out of the dressing room to attend a meeting with representatives from the club's board. Media people were asking if we were going to get anybody to speak to, and there were just glum expressions on the faces of anybody who was wearing a Nottingham Forest badge. It was a mix of confusion for ages, but after waiting for about an hour, Forest's Ryan Yates did come to speak to us and told us what it's been like since the game ended.
I'll be honest, Ange came in after the game, debriefed the game, and then I went out to do some running, come back, and obviously the news had broke that he'd gone. Everybody has to take responsibility. I think it'd be unfair to pin on anybody, and I think we have to look at ourselves in the mirror firstly and dust ourselves down and go again, because things in football can change really quickly, and that's what we're going to be thinking about.
Are you saying, as a group of players, as a collective, this is on you, Ryan?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying partly we're to blame with the guys going out on the pitch trying to get results. But at the end of the day, like I just said, football changes really quickly, and with a good result Thursday night, we can get that feel-good factor back and kick on.
If the manager hears you, what would you like to say to him?
I've got nothing to say right now.
It's just a tough time, as a group.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't be surprised by anything, should you really? But Postecoglou came in, debriefed the players. Ryan Yates went out for a run, came back in and found out his manager had been sacked.
That is exactly how it played out. And do you know what? To add to the respect for Ryan Yates, you just heard him there speaking to me. I think I was 8th in line. There were numerous media who wanted to speak to anybody connected to Nottingham Forest, and he did every single one of those interviews, having not been in there when the decision was made. Obviously he went out to warm down. Ange Postecoglou was just seen leaving with his backpack on, and that was it. The statement came about 5 or 6 minutes later. Forest players, led by Yates actually, Mark, were then taken somewhere else in the stadium to do a debrief and a meeting with representatives from the board. Then he came out and did every single one of those global TV and media interviews.
Thank you very much, Lee. Match of the day, 10:30 tonight on BBC One. We'll have more reaction during Sports Report from 5 o'clock. Half-time in the Prem Rugby, Leicester 12, Bath 17. In the United Rugby Championship earlier, Lions 29, Scarlets 18. They're into the second half between Sharks and Ulster. Ulster lead by 20 points to 5. We'll go back to the Etihad shortly. We're going to go to Ascot as well. The Champion Stakes, the big race of the day, 4:05. If you're still waiting and wondering whether to put your 50p each way on a horse, just to point you in the direction of, so far today, we've had a 200-1 winner in Powerful Glory in the Champion Sprint Stakes, and in the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes, Cicero's Gift went off at 100-1. You might want to look at those long shots in the Champion Stakes. We'll go to John Hunt very shortly. First, Dan Morsey with the news.
The voice of the UK. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Next up, as the family of Virginia Giuffre said, Prince Andrew's decision to stop using his remaining titles and honours is a demonstration that she was telling the truth from the beginning. She accuses the Prince of sexually abusing her when she accused, I should say, the Prince of sexually abusing her when she was a teenager. Andrew denies all the accusations against him, but said he was concerned the attention on him was distracting from the work of the royal family. The Palestinian embassy in Egypt says the Rafah border crossing with Gaza will reopen on Monday to allow people to return to their homes. A ceasefire in the territory is largely holding, although Gaza's Hamas-run civil defence says 11 people from the same family were killed last night when an Israeli tank shell hit their bus. Israel's military said soldiers had fired at a suspicious vehicle that had crossed a demarcation line. President Trump has dampened Ukraine's hopes that the US will supply Tomahawk missiles capable of striking deeper inside Russia. Following a meeting with President Zelensky at the White House, Mr. Trump said Ukraine and Russia should stop right now at the battle line and end the killing. And the socialite and heiress Lady Annabel Goldsmith has died at the age of 91. Lady Annabel, whose 6 children include the film producer Jemima Khan and the former Conservative MP Zach Goldsmith, gave her name to the London nightclub Annabel's. In a statement, her son Ben Goldsmith said she was quite simply irreplaceable.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Most of the 3 o'clock's back underway, including at the Etihad. So straight back to Ian Dennis. Although, did you spend half time looking at the big prices in the Champion Stakes?
I did. Devil's Advocate, Prague and Mount Kilimanjaro are the outsiders.
They're the 3 that I've got in front of me at the moment. They've all come in, though.
Well, I didn't have a bet, though, as we're back underway, though, here. Neither side has made a change. 0-0 between Manchester City and Everton. But as Mark has mentioned, the Champions Stakes will be underway very, very soon. So we will be going back to Ascot. But City line up with Donnarumma in goal, Nunes, Diaz, Ake and O'Reilly as a defence, Gonzalez, Reinders and Foden in the midfield. And then you've got Doku wide left, Savinho wide right and Haaland through the middle. For Everton, in their all-black, they've got Pickford in goal, O'Brien, Tarkowski, Keane and Mikolenko as the defence, Alcaraz, Gay and Garner, and Jai, who's been eye-catching at times, Dewsbury Hall and Beto, as Manchester City are attacking from right to left and almost at a walking pace, inching his way towards Njai. But there was Njai just waiting, and then into the challenge, wins the ball for Everton. He's been good going forward, but he's also done a defensive shift too, Pat.
He certainly has, and I was talking to some individuals involved in Everton Football Club downstairs, I won't say who, and they said if he keeps on doing that, we're going to struggle to keep him. Everyone knows how good Njai is at the moment, and as I say, you stick him in any other team just now and give him more ball in the front third, he is extra special at the moment. Very, very good start to the season, but he was like that last season as well. By the way, one wag did say to me down in the press room before, he enjoyed it more here when the atmosphere was much better during lockdown.
Northampton won. Doncaster won, Northampton won, so Northampton have equalised. It has been extremely quiet here at the Etihad. Here is Doku in towards O'Reilly. O'Reilly tries to dig out the shot, might fall towards Reinders, runs forward and cleared away by Tarkowski. So we've talked about the outsiders. Will they provide another upset in the Champions Stakes at Ascot? We'll find out with John Hunt.
Well, 2 of those 3 in, pacemakers, Mount Kilimanjaro and Devil's Advocate, and they are the 2 early leaders from Al Makam in 3rd place, and in 4th, Fox Legacy. All 4 of those very big prices, Prague next. So the fancied runners are all held up more off the pace. First looks in the middle of the pack together with Almeric and Economics, and the big 3 guns in the race are the last 3 horses early. Delacroix, the French superstar Calandigan, who has a rapid turn of foot, and Ombudsman, the favourite, sits last of all, and there's 10 lengths between the leaders and that back marker Ombudsman. Fascinating to see then all of the talent right at the back of this field. Up front, Devil's Advocate continues to go head to head with Mount Kilimanjaro, and they're 4 lengths clear. The Champion Stakes on what's been a bewildering day of racing here at Ascot, with those 2 massive upsets together with fabulous performances from the favourites Kalpana and Trawlerman earlier on. What will happen here? They're beginning the long run for home. The leader, still Devil's Advocate from Mount Kilimanjaro. We're expecting them to fade though. Al Makam is next, followed by Prague. Then comes Fox Legacy, and still the really fancied runners are off the pace. Delacroix's work to do. Calandigan, and widest of all, Ombudsman is now chasing them quite hard. Doesn't look as though Economics can pick up, and Al Makam is well beaten off as well. Still the leader is Devil's Advocate, but they're coming at him now, and the class horses start to move in on the act. Calandigan chased by Ombudsman, and all of a sudden it's between these 2, Calandigan and Ombudsman. Calandigan leads leads by a length and a half. This French superstar, oh, he's something else. Calandagan goes on to win the Champions Stakes. Ombudsman was no match for him. Looks like Delacroix was back in third, and in fourth was Al Makam. Calandagan then for Francois Graffard, a man who won the Arc de Triomphe 2 weeks ago. He brought Calandagan here in the summer to win the King George, and Calandagan has done it again. A fitting end to a sumptuous day's racing here at Ascot.
Thank you, John, and I'm sure that there will be some sort of like reaction and analysis in Sports Report on what is going to be an extremely busy Sports Report with Mark Chapman from 5 o'clock with the results and the reaction too before our next commentary, Fulham against Arsenal at 5:30. Cardiff City have equalised at home to Reading. Cardiff 1, Reading 1 in League 1, and in League 2 Bristol Rovers 0, Tranmere Rovers 2. Doku left-hand side 0-0 still here in our commentary game between Manchester City and Everton. Bournemouth, remember, still lead 2-0 at Crystal Palace on Sports Extra as Doku holds off Njai. And then Doku plays it back. This is Gonzalez watching on. Unfazed at the moment is Pep Guardiola for what is his 350th Premier League game today. Wenger, Sir Alex Ferguson, and the man just stood a matter of yards away from him, David Moyes, are the only men who've managed more in the Premier League era. As here is O'Reilly forward, Foden on the half turn. Guy though, Gay putting him under a little bit of pressure. And Jai, lovely little pirouette, and manages to release the ball in one sumptuous movement.
It just looks different to the way the other players play. He knows where it is all the time. He's utter control of the ball, and it doesn't seem to matter how many players are off him. But the big problem he has got is a lot of it's in his own half. He cannot get that much good ball in the final third. If he did, he would, because he also has problems today. But right at the moment, you say Pep doesn't look too concerned. I think inside he's concerned. I really do. And the giveaway, he's just sent 4 subs out to warm up.
So they are warming up away towards our left. Kolo Touré is also watching on. A 5th substitute, in fact, now for Manchester City. As meanwhile, at the other end, Everton will get a free kick 10 yards up from the byline on the right-hand side. They have had chances in this game as well.
They are still dangerous from free kicks and corner kicks, and this is a great area to put it in. I mean, the 2 centre-backs and the full-back O'Brien, he's not small either. So real danger here if they get a good ball in. But of course, Donnarumma has actually coped with these quite well so far.
Dewsbury Hall then waits to take it. 0-0 here on 5 Live at the Etihad. Dewsbury Hall, left-footed. That's a very good claim by Donnarumma. That imposing figure, all in pink, takes it and then throws it two-handed out towards Mateus Nunes, who's got a bit of room to run into. He accelerates in towards the centre circle with a real burst. Foden, close control, shields the ball away from Njai. Actually applauded by one of his teammates there, Nico Gonzalez, was Phil Foden. Starting to get regular game time and getting back to his best for Manchester City after a difficult time last season. But it remains 0-0 here. No other goals elsewhere around the country. As we go to the rugby and Leicester and Molly Stevens.
It took 4 minutes of this second half for Leicester to pick up where they left off. Prop Nicky Smith scores their 3rd try. James O'Connor converts. Leicester go back in front. It's Leicester Tigers 19, Bath Rugby 17.
Burnley 1, Leeds United 0, Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth 2, Sunderland 1, Wolves 0, earlier Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 3 was the result. Ange Postecoglou sacked. What's the latest at the Amex? Chris Coles.
Still Brighton 1, Newcastle 0, but a double half-time change from Eddie Howe to inject some life into his flat Newcastle. Miley and Murphy on for Alanga and Joel Linton, but Brighton have come close. Hayari bending just wide. Brighton 1, Newcastle 0.
They'll of course be back on Champions League action in midweek, as will we here on 5 Live, and after the Monday Night Club at 7 o'clock to start off next week. Tuesday our live action is Arsenal Atletico Madrid, and on Wednesday night we stay in the capital for Chelsea against Ajax, as Foden plays it short and square. In between, gets a little touch for Reinders. His ball, though, is intercepted by Mikolenko, who runs forward now and carries the ball over the halfway line for Everton, all in black. Beto now controls it, lays it off towards Gay. Gay manages to sidestep away from Gonzalez, up towards Dewsbury Hall. He's knocked off the ball by Doku, and Tony Harrington, with a very good view of that, gives Everton a free kick as MK Dons now lead Crewe 3-0.
I think Everton are a wee bit lucky there. Wasn't a lot in that there. I think Dewsbury Hall wasn't strong enough there. And then had he lost that one, not got it back, not got the free kick, Manchester City were in a brilliant position, but it gives Everton a free kick in another good area. And you get that, again, you're listening to this just now, there's not a lot happening for Man City still as this second half goes on. And you wonder what the fans will do. Will they get behind the team, or will they get a wee bit frustrated if they don't score soon?
I wonder what Thomas Tuchel would make of the atmosphere inside the Etihad.
To be honest, I've talked about it a lot because it's so noticeable, because there have been times when this has been a hotbed in Manchester City, famously we had a side that had a great noise, but really the team needs something. Now, whether it's the manager has to change it, the team needs to lift the crowd, yeah, there is that as well, but now and again, don't have help if the crowd really get behind you and lift you.
0-0. Manchester City, who came into this game 7 unbeaten in all competitions since those back-to-back defeats against Spurs and Brighton away, being frustrated by Everton. Plymouth 1, Wimbledon 2 is a latest score in League One, as Doku will not get there before O'Brien, and the only unbeaten English League side are Coventry City, and there's been a goal. Pat Murphy.
And is gone to Coventry. Victor Torp, their midfielder, 25 yards out, volleyed it through a group of players, keeper unsighted. Coventry 1, Blackburn 0.
Straight to Blundell Park, there's a penalty. Charlie Slater.
Grimsby are in front. Charles Vernham has scored that penalty low into the bottom corner of the net, so it's Grimsby 1, 10-man Gillingham 0.
And that means that the top 3 in League 2 are all behind, with Walsall still losing at home to Barrow by 1-0, although Barrow are now down to 10 men. Swindon, who are trailing at Accrington by 1-0. Swindon are down to 10 men. And then Grimsby, who are leading Gillingham by 1-0, and Gillingham have had a man sent off. Wigan Athletic 1, Port Vale 0 is the latest score in League 1. That's the 10 men of Wigan, incidentally. And Hibs 2, Livingston 0 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. There are changes afoot. Oscar Bob and Bernardo Silva for Manchester City. O'Reilly bursts forward on the left. O'Reilly with a cross. Haaland with a header. He has been quiet for most of the game, but you cannot silence Erling Haaland. A header to give Manchester City the lead, and Erling Haaland with his 13th goal of the season. 1-0 Manchester City.
Well, the great thing about that, apart from the fact that the ball hadn't reached Haaland's head and you knew it was going to end up in the back of the neck, but the change, the difference there, it's not Doku running at the winger, it's overlapping fullback, and because of that change, that's confused, and Jai, who's the man who's supposed to stay, and we've been singing his praises all day long, he didn't stay with the run, and that got the man right to the byline there. He's waiting for the cross, and the power in which Haaland gets onto that header is almost like a shot for most people. What a difference it makes when you get a couple of subs warming up. Just lifts the team a wee bit, gets them moving. What a header. It is textbook from Haaland.
It was such a leap as well, though, wasn't it? And he seemed to hang in the air to generate the power with his head.
Yeah, and as I say, textbook, because he heads it down to the goalkeeper's feet. So exactly what the keeper doesn't want to see. And, well, after what had been a dull start to the second half, it has to be said, they've managed to get the goal when they needed it. Well done.
And they're making changes as well. And it is Reinders and Doku who have come off for Bernardo Silva and Oscar Bob. St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0, Luton 0, Mansfield 2, Motherwell 1, Falkirk 1. And where will we go next? Another goal at Coventry for Pat Murphy.
Another goal for Coventry City from the same area where Torp equalised. This time a sumptuous swerving right foot volley by Brandon Thomas Asante. Coventry 2, Blackburn 0.
A goal at Bramall Lane now in the Championship. Mike Minor.
Sheffield United, a bottom side lead by 1-0. They nearly made a mess of it. Low ball in from the right. It was then put back in across the left. Callum O'Hare from close range, almost on the goal line. Saw it in. He got the winner when Sheffield United won their only game of the season so far. They're leading Watford by 1-0.
Jack won't be jumping tonight. Another goal at Kenilworth Road. Nikesh Regani.
A second for Mansfield. Tyler Roberts putting away a penalty after a handball in the area. It's Luton 0, Mansfield 2.
That St Mirren goal, incidentally, has been disallowed after VAR, so it remains St Mirren 0, Aberdeen 0. But Manchester City are leading here by a goal to 0, and Erling Haaland with his 22nd goal in 13 games for club and country this season. After Sports Report, we're going to Craven Cottage in the company of Franny Benali and Ali Bruce Ball, and Ali has the team news.
One change for Arsenal from the 2-0 win against West Ham last time out in the Premier League. Martin Ødegaard injured, so Martin Zubamendi replaces him. Raul Jimenez fit to start for Fulham, one of 3 changes from the 3-1 defeat at Bournemouth. Cuenca, Kearney and Jimenez come in for Diop, Bassi and Lukic.
Commentary at 5:30 here on 5 Live. Everton looking for a quick equaliser, and Jai whips over the cross, hasn't been properly dealt with. Garner gets the effort away and then takes a deflection and runs wide of the left-hand post.
Well, that was very, very tight. Everton thought they should have got something out of that there. Big complaints about it. They want a penalty kick. Are they saying there's a handball? The referee said he's pointing to his ear. He's thinking about it. He's not making it particularly clear here. Was there a cut? No, the ball was hit. Oh, the hand's away there from the... I don't think he's going to give it though. It is a hand. He's hit his hand. It's going towards the goal, but it's not that unnatural position because it's leaning towards the ground.
He's also falling to the floor, isn't he? I think it's Bernardo Silva, so he's falling to the floor. It did strike his hand, but VAR will have a look at that, and the corner kick will be taken. Manchester City lead by a goal to 0. We wait for Everton to deliver it. Rotherham 1, Lake Norrie 0. In it comes now. Donnarumma manages to push it down away from his goal at his near post. Another goal at the Hawthorns in the Championship. John Akers.
Another one for West Brom. West Brom 2, Preston 0. Brilliant finish from Isaac Price. Brought it into the area. Curler with his right foot. West Brom 2, Preston 0.
Preston went into that game unbeaten in 5 matches, and they were 4th in the table this morning. The results, incidentally, in the Championship earlier: Oxford beat Derby County by a goal to 0, QPR 1, Millwall 2, and it finished 0-0 between Southampton and Swansea at St Mary's. O'Reilly comes charging forward from left back. It's his 8th successive start in that position, and he really has done ever so well for Manchester City of late, and he's very confident on the ball. He's got a real quality about him as Nico O'Reilly. Here now is Diaz as he passes the ball out towards Oscar Bob, who comes in off that right touchline level with the area. Foden lets it come across his body. Foden looking up all the time. Now clips it out towards Savinho. Savinho, who's on the left-hand side of the area, back towards Haaland. First time! Scores! Swept home by Erling Haaland off that trusty left boot. Haaland with a double, and Manchester City lead Everton by 2 goals to 0.
The man is an absolute phenomenon. 10 minutes ago he was walking about. It looked as if he was fairly disinterested in the game. He'd hardly mentioned his game. He did one real half chance in the first half where he got hit the crossbar. The ball was landed to him twice in the 6-yard line or 18-yard line there. And never for a millisecond do you think it's going to end up anywhere except in the goal. Certainly on target. He's had a header, he's had a left footer now. Are you going to bet against a right-footed hat-trick?
You know what's mad about Erling Haaland? He's approaching a century of goals just off his left foot alone for Manchester City.
It's coming slightly behind him there. That's not an easy chance. But for him, it's an easy chance. He will always get it on target. He will always redirect it. He will always put it to a place where a goalkeeper doesn't want it low down at your feet. I mean, keepers hate going down at those positions. He's done that with both of his shots on target in the second half, and it's the difference between the two teams.
So Manchester City lead Everton by 2 goals to 0. Jack Robinson has been sent off for Birmingham City as they trail at home to Hull City by 2 goals to 1. Hull, who are yet to win away from home in the Championship this season. And another red card. Oh, hold on. Haaland has picked the ball up. Looks for the return ball from Oscar Bob. Haaland is on a hat-trick. Pickford, though, dives at his feet, gets there first. Another sending off at Blundell Park, Charlie.
Where Gillingham's afternoon is going from bad to worse. They're now down to 9 men. Johnny Williams sent off for 2 yellow cards. They're trailing by a goal to 0. Grimsby are going for the jugular as there's an effort which is cleared away from the line. It's Grimsby 1, 9-man Gillingham 0.
Cardiff City have come from behind. Reading, who are yet to win away from home in League One this season, are trailing in South Wales. Cardiff City 2, Reading 1 is the latest score. What is happening at Selhurst Park, John Southall?
Well, we've got a goal check. Palace may have one back. Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth 2. Mateta thinks he scored. They're just checking for offside. Muniz with the cross. Mateta finished it off, so they're just checking that. Also had a controversial moment. Sarr through on the right. Senesi brought him down. Was he the last man? Gerard Gillett gave the yellow, went to the screen, spent an age there seeing if it was denying a goal scoring opportunity, stuck with the yellow. Palace 0, Bournemouth 2, waiting for the decision.
O'Brien, under pressure, managed to see the back pass to Pickford, who hit it first time left-footed. Commentary of that game at Selhurst Park is on Sports Extra. You can toggle between the two through the BBC Sounds app just with that little dial. That's where you'll also find Sports Extra 2 and 3 with the streams, as we give you so much choice of live sport through those platforms on the BBC 5 Live network. But here we are, Sports Report on its way at 5. Manchester City looking for yet another win, as they're now leading Everton 2-0. What's happening at Sunderland, Julia Bold?
It's still Sunderland 1, Wolves 0, but Wolves have come out much brighter this second half. There's been a couple of chances. Rodrigo Gomez over the bar, and João Gomez ran onto the ball, centre of goal, but he hit it and it went wide. They're yet to get a shot on target, but looking much better. Sunderland 1, Wolves 0.
And from Sunderland to Burnley and Maz Faruqi.
And Leeds chasing the equaliser. Ball from Harrison to pick out Calvert-Lewin, lurking on the goal line. Great interception from Burnley to get it away from him. Still Burnley 1, Leeds 0.
What happened to that goal check, John?
It's been given. Game on. Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 2. I have to say, looked like he was on when he scored it. Jean-Philippe Mateta with it, and Palace are back in it. Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 2.
Doncaster Rovers 1, Northampton Town 2, and Crawley Town in League 2 are down to 10 men. So Crawley, who are currently away, drawing 0-0 at Shrewsbury. Harry McCurdy has been sent off in the 65th minute. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, just looking at the change in the match and when it happened and how it happened. It was really getting quite dull at the start of the second half. And I mentioned to the fact that Pep put out 4 substitutes to run along, and he was just about to bring 2 on. And in those 2 or 3 minutes, the game absolutely changed. Man City players thought, we better lift this a little bit. They did lift it, and since then, Manchester City look like a different team now, don't they? They're zipping it about better. They look lively, real confidence, as if to say, these are 3 points that we need.
Well, it means that they've scored first now in 10 of their 11 games this season, and when they've previously scored first, they've won 6 of those previous 9 as latest scores in the Premier League. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Newcastle 0, Burnley 1, Leeds 0, Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 2, Sunderland still lead by Wolves by a 1-0. Fulham Arsenal coming up at 5:30 here on 5 Live. We are approaching the midway point of the second half. Manchester City leading by 2-0, and Erling Haaland, his incredible start to the season, continues.
And the thing is, he's had 3 chances. Yeah. That's it, 3 chances. He missed one by hitting the crossbar, and apart from that, he just looks like a different human being when he scored a goal, because you can see the hunger coming back.
Diaz steps out of defence with the ball, out towards Oscar Bob, right hand side. Sounds a decent Yorkshire derby at Valley Parade. That's Premji.
Bradford City 2, Barnsley 2. Another flicked effort from Patrick Kelly, the substitute off the bench for Barnsley, right-footed, assist by Luca Canal, and we're all square again. It's Bradford City 2, Barnsley 2.
O'Reilly's just stood over another cross from the left-hand side. It's been cleared away by the Everton defence. It'll be collected by Nathan Ake. Walsall 0, Barrow 2. So the leaders of League 2 have fallen further behind at home, and that will be the end of their 8-match unbeaten run, it would seem, as Gonzalez goes towards Mateus Nunes, and Manchester City looking to go for further goals here as they lead by 2-0. And talking of goals, there's been yet another one at Selhurst Park. John Southall.
Oh, it's jumping in here now. What a turnaround. Palace 2, Bournemouth 2. Muniz on the right-hand side. And there he was again. Jean-Philippe Mateta at the back post to smuggle it in. Palace 2, Bournemouth 2.
Well, that means that Manchester City now will go top of the Premier League table, albeit for a couple of hours, as Foden fires one over the crossbar.
Yeah, and they're cruising now. It's very, very easy looking now for Manchester City, the way they're getting through. And they're a joy to watch when they play like this. I'm just watching Oscar Bob, and he's coming on. He's made a difference as well. He's looked very, very lively. as we speak just now, there's going to be a lot of change for Everton, going to make a couple of substitutions, no surprise there as well. But right at the start I said it's all about concentration, and if you're Everton you need to concentrate, and they just switched off for one moment, and that moment was, well, probably the best player of the match up until then, Ndiaye didn't follow the fullback, and his fullback O'Reilly got to the byline, and it was only 1-0 then, but with Border and game over.
It was only 1-0 at Turf Moor. It's not now. Maz Faruqi.
It's an absolute rocket from the substitute Chalmer. Absolutely no chance for Carl Darlow in the Leeds goal from outside of the area. Hit with pace, hit with precision. Burnley 2, Leeds 0.
Burnley lead Leeds United by 2-0. That would be only one win in 8 in all competitions for Leeds United. There's been a goal at Ibrox, Ailey Barber.
After such a dominant first half, it's a case of same old Rangers. They are level here with Dundee United. Trapanovsky off the bench to put United level with his first touch of the game. Rangers 1, Dundee United 1.
The double change that Everton made, incidentally, Merlin Ruel came on for Alcaraz and Idrissa Gana Gueye went off for Tim Irubunum to come on. So changes in the Everton midfield as they trail by 2-0. This is 5 Live. We're also live on the World Service as O'Reilly, who's getting a licence to come forward on this left-hand side. He's now got Savinho playing ahead of him rather than Doku.
I think that's why Rule's been brought on there, because O'Reilly's getting forward time and again now. He's made one, he's got to the byline a couple of times. Certainly Ndiaye looks a little bit tired. No surprise, because he's worked his socks off going back, but he's now running out of gas, so he's over the other side.
Savinho able to turn, just tried with a weighted ball through to Haaland. Pickford though got there ahead of him, all in orange, away towards our left-hand side. Manchester City lead 2-0 and going top. It would mean that they've collected 13 points out of a possible 15 in recent matches in the Premier League. That was dainty footwork by Matheus Nunes. And now all of a sudden he's matched it with a surging run, a diagonal run, and gets the applause as well from this Manchester City crowd, who appreciated the efforts there of Matheus Nunes.
Didn't know fullbacks were allowed to do that. Lovely little step over there, and then decided a little bit of a nosebleed. I think it'll stop now after going past a couple of players, but it just shows you the qualities of Manchester City players. Anybody in any position can go in a little mazy when he fancies it. And it's a bit of a cruise now for them. It's quite easy, they're enjoying it, and I suspect they could feel the manager's anger growing when it was at 0-0, but that first goal taking all the pressure off.
Just a question now of how many goals Manchester City will score. Bob comes away from one challenge, tries for the go for the curler, it's blocked and it goes behind for a corner. And for Everton it will mean that they've not won away against Manchester City in their last 16 attempts since December 2010. Tim Cahill and Leighton Baines were the first half goals on that particular occasion for Everton, and I noticed that Leighton Baines was just in the left ear of David Moyes, now part of the Everton coaching staff, as I think they are making substitutions.
Well, you've got to look at Beto's, run hard, but had very little of the ball in the second half, maybe needs a rest.
In comes the corner kick, headed away by Tarkowski. The referee actually got in the way of Savinho. He apologises, does Tony Harrington, but he impeded Savinho. Bristol Rovers 0, Tranmere Rovers 3. That'll be a first win in 8 for Tranmere Rovers then, one of Pat's former sides. Sheffield Wednesday have got a goal back at the Valley. Charlton 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1, a latest score in the Championship, and will stay in the Championship because there's been a goal at Carrow Road. Mark Webber.
Boos ring around Carrow Road. Norwich City 0, Bristol City 1. 73 minutes in, Mark Sykes the sub, unmarked on the right post. An easy tap in for him. Norwich 0, Bristol City 1.
Not surprised they've got boos at Carrow Road. They've lost all 5 at home this season before today, so they're losing once again. Bristol City, incidentally, without a win in 4. And Norwich, that would mean 2 points out of a possible 18. So not in a great run of form, whether it be at home or away in the Championship. This is 5 Live. We've got about 16 minutes remaining. I'll run through all the latest scores in the various divisions very soon as we head our way towards Sports Report on a day when Ange Postecoglou has been sacked as the Nottingham Forest manager. Don't forget, match of the day tonight, 10:30 BBC One, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and the way the Manchester City are putting the pressure on just now, I mean, they'll be sitting back and looking at what's going to happen to the rest. Obviously the Arsenal game will be on their mind as well, and they're looking at David Moyes making precisely the change I expected them to make just now. The fact that Beto's run himself into the ground, and I mean, better will can infuriate, the Everton fans, because the hold-up play hasn't been absolutely brilliant. He's had a chance and a half and hasn't been able to take them. You don't get that many opportunities. But you could never complain about his work rate.
No.
He really, really puts himself about a bit. And in the end, he got very, very limited help up front during this game so far.
10 without a goal for club and country now for Beto. Tieno Barry comes on for his 10th appearance. He's still looking to open up his account. Walsall have got a goal back, incidentally, in League Two. The leaders have reduced the arrears at the Bescott Stadium. Walsall 1, Barrow 2. As Bernardo Silva passes the ball forward. Manchester City leading by 2-0. Bournemouth were 2-0 up, but Crystal Palace pegging them back at Selhurst Park as Ake chips the ball forward towards O'Reilly, drops over his head and runs out of play for a throw. So the latest scores then in the Scottish Premiership I'll give you in a moment as we hear on 5 Live. We've got obviously Kilmarnock Hearts, the leaders, at 5:45. We'll bring you news of that into our next commentary of Fulham against Arsenal at 5:30. But Everton, a rather forlorn task here at the moment, Pat.
Yeah, the expectation's limited now. I mean, the idea was to try and play in the break now and again. The problem is if you're an attack-minded player and you get the ball, if you're Everton, you're 70 yards to the goal when you get the ball. It's a long way to go, and you have to hold it, you have to keep it, you have to be technically good on the ball, and you have to be creative, and it's a lot to do when you've been under pressure that amount of time. So, and Manchester City know that. They will play the percentages and say, right, okay, you keep on going, but you will turn off at some point, and when you turn off, we will make good use of it. And we've seen this many times before with Manchester City. It's no surprise.
And Jai runs his way out towards the left, does a cross on the run, and the header was from Rowe, and about 8 yards out into the side netting, goal kick. So in the Scottish Premiership, Hibs 2, Livingston 0, Motherwell 1, Falkirk 1, Rangers pegged back by Dundee United at Ibrox, Rangers 1, Dundee United 1, St Mirren, Aberdeen. Well, it says here 0-0. But Alex Gogic had scored after the 58th minute, so I'm not too sure whether that's a glitch on my computer or whether there was VAR. So a little bit of confusion regarding that. So we'll tidy that one up after we've heard from John Akers at the Hawthorns.
Preston have got one back. West Brom 2, Preston 1. Michael Smith off the bench, low cross, turned it in first time from 6 yards. Interesting last 10 minutes here. West Brom 2, Preston 1.
That must have been ruled out by VAR. Just for confirmation, it is 0-0 in Paisley between St Mirren and Aberdeen.
Just looking at watching Erling Haaland just now, he's desperate not to come off, isn't he? He wants a hat-trick. These goal scorers are all the same. They've got their eyes in the numbers, they've got their eyes in the records, and they do love their hat-tricks. And you do get the feeling if he's given one more chance, the likelihood is he will score it.
Well, he's yet to get a hat-trick for Manchester City this season, but he has, of course, scored 5 against Moldova and then a hat-trick against Israel. There's been a goal at Ibrox, Ailey Barber.
Dundee United have turned this game around from 1-0 down. They lead by 2-1. A wonderful finish from Craig Sibbald, unstoppable into the top corner. The boos have rung out around Ibrox. Rangers 1, Dundee United 2.
And we thought there'd been another goal at Selhurst Park, John Southall. However,
Palace thought they had a third, but it remains Palace 2, Bournemouth 2. Matata's shot off Nketiah, but he was offside. Palace 2, Bournemouth 2. Terrific game this.
well, you can see all the extended highlights at 10:30 on BBC One. The goals will be available from 8 o'clock through the BBC iPlayer. Tranmere Rovers getting their first win in 8 in some style in League Two. They've just rattled in a 4th goal. Bristol Rovers 0, Tranmere Rovers 4. Indeed, I'll give you the latest scores in League Two as well. In fact, the results earlier were Cambridge 2, Bromley 1. Salford beat Oldham by a 0-0 as Manchester City attack on the right-hand side, and the ball played down towards Nunes. He cuts it back towards Bernardo Silva, who's almost stationary. Silva back with Mateus Nunes. Bernardo Silva as the two Portuguese internationals combine. Then the latest scores: Accrington 1, Swindon 0. Swindon, who were second, are down to 10 men. Barnet 0, Notts County 0. Bristol Rovers 0, Tranmere 4. Chesterfield 1, Fleetwood 1. Colchester lead Harrogate by 3-1. Grimsby Town 1, Gillingham 0. Gillingham have had 2 players sent off as Savino chips the ball into the area, flicked on by O'Reilly and flicked away from Haaland, who can't keep the ball in play. MK Dons 3, Crewe 0, Newport County 0, Cheltenham 2, Shrewsbury 0, Crawley 0, Walsall 1, Barrow 2. And in fact, in League 2, there have been 6 red cards in League 2 this afternoon. As I'm hearing of a goal at the Amex, Chris Coles.
To Newcastle, they've equalised, and it's him again. Nick Voltemada scores for a 4th consecutive game. A lovely little backheel flick into the bottom corner to make it Brighton 1, Newcastle 1.
And we've got a stoppage here, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, well, Voltemada's interesting, isn't he? It's one of those players that I've yet to meet anyone who doesn't like him or like watching him as a player. He's a handful, we'll say that much. But just watching this game, Manchester City, it is so incredibly easy. They don't have to break out of a sweat. They're cruising, they're passing it really quickly, they're getting into dangerous positions. O'Reilly almost scored there, and Haaland's trying to pretend he's not angry with him, because had he not got in the way, Haaland was right behind them.
Well, Manchester City are going to be making at least a double change. In fact, it's going to be a triple change as well. So there is a stoppage in play because of the injury at the minute to O'Reilly. We can go to the Stadium of Light. Julia Bold.
Still Sunderland 1, Wolves 0, and Wolves have finally got a shot on target. Munetsi had his back to goal and he flicked the ball round, and as it flew at goal, it looked to be going in. Robin Roofs, though, got to it, so it still remains Sunderland 1, Wolves 0.
Thanks, Julia. Motherwell 1, Falkirk 2 as the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. To Turf Moor, Mas Faruqi.
Well, Leeds are trying to salvage something from this game. 11 minutes plus stoppage time to play in the second half. Lots of possession, but really not able to test Martin Dubravka in the Burnley goal. Still Burnley 2, Leeds 0.
We've got Kovacic, Lewis and Cherky, who are going to be coming on for Manchester City with a triple change as they lead by 2-0 with 8 minutes remaining. I'm conscious I've got to get through the League One, the Championship scores as well. We've got Sports Report coming up at 5. We've then got commentary from Craven Cottage of Fulham against Arsenal. Tomorrow, Tottenham Villa at 2. Liverpool, Manchester United to follow at 4:30. O'Reilly wants to come back onto the pitch as Pep Guardiola is in conversation with Pep Linders, and O'Reilly says, I'm all right, I want to continue. And he comes back onto the pitch.
Yeah, you never take any chances if you can possibly help it, especially as O'Reilly's. He's actually got better as the game goes on. He was asked a lot of questions in this game, and certainly in the first half by Njai, and part of the second half as well. But in the end, he was the one that had the massive effect of creating the first goal, and so he should be happy with his afternoon's work.
Manchester City, who beat Napoli on match day 1, they travel to Villarreal away on Tuesday in the Champions League. They're on their travels then against Aston Villa next Sunday, and indeed they face then Swansea, another away game in the League Cup after that, before they take on Bournemouth here at home. Bournemouth, who were leading 2-0, and at one stage it looked like they were going top of the Premier League. However, Crystal Palace have now equalised 2-2. It is at Selhurst Park, and commentary that continues on Sports Extra as Everton trailing 2-0. Barry over on that far side, the left, in front of that travelling support from Everton. All 3 tiers that reach up into the sky, and that towering south stand away towards our right. And Everton still plugging away, get a corner kick on this near side, the right.
We can't completely relax if you're Manchester City, because if Everton could get a goal from a corner kick, suddenly with just one goal between the teams. I mean, it's still highly unlikely by the way the game has gone so far, but there's been so many weird ends to games this season. You just never know, but it's about the quality of the ball in here, and if Everton can keep it away from Donnarumma, you never know.
Dewsbury Hall with the corner. Haaland back there on defensive duties. Nice touch by Foden. The referee has blown his whistle. Was there a bit off the ball there between Haaland and Tarkowski? Certainly the referee looking up towards Haaland, who's just pointed in the direction of Tarkowski, who's smiling and jogging back towards the halfway line.
And the reason is because when you've got a corner against Manchester City, one of the big things they think is, this is a chance for us, because they're so good at breaking. So as soon as they win the ball, the first thing that Haaland does is he turns and he sprints. And Everton are aware of that, so what they'll do is everything they possibly can to stop him. And Tarkowski will say he didn't deliberately leave his foot in there to trip Tarkowski. They're going to have a look at it, but that would be a bit harsh.
Yes, it would. As the referee Tony Harrington eventually gives the OK for play to resume. The results then in League One earlier: Burton Albion 0, Peterborough 1. Despite finishing the game with 10 men, Peterborough United climbed off the bottom of the table at that point. However, Blackpool still lead Wycombe by a goal to nil, so Peterborough will go back to 24th in the table. Lincoln 1, Stevenage 0, prevented Stevenage going top with that result at Sincil Bank. These are the latest scores. Blackpool 1, Wycombe 0, Bradford City 2, Barnsley 2, Cardiff 2, Reading 1, Doncaster 1, Northampton 2, Luton Town, who missed a penalty in the first half, 0, Mansfield 2, Plymouth 1, Wimbledon 2, Rotherham 1, Leyton Orient 0, Stockport County 0, Exeter 0, and Wigan down to 10 men just before half-time, lead Port Vale by a goal to nil. So those set of results actually mean that Cardiff, coming from behind against a Reading side that are yet to win away from home in League One, Cardiff will go back to the top of the table as it currently stands, as the changes are being made. And we're going to see Kovacic coming on.
Yeah, for Gonzalez, Savinho, Chavinho off, Cherky on. And no surprise that O'Reilly is going to come off that little injury to give Lewis a chance at left back.
So Rico Lewis comes on for his 101st appearance for Manchester City. And then the other change was Cherky coming on for Savinho, as Pat says. So Cherky coming back after he's been an unused substitute against Brentford, but had missed the previous 7 games before that, so it's his first appearance since August. And as for Mateo Kovacic, he managed the last 21 minutes for Croatia against Gibraltar. He's had an Achilles problem this season, but he's been an unused substitute for the last 2 games for Manchester City against Monaco and Brentford, but it is his first appearance for Manchester City of the season. And Njai, who's been extremely watchable for Everton, is getting a rest after, of course, playing for a very successful 2 games for Senegal as they qualified for the World Cup, to be replaced by Tyler Dibbling.
Yeah, and trying to sneak on without you noticing was McNeil as well for Dewsbury Hall.
Yes, he crept under the radar.
Yes, he did sneak in a little bit there.
With those substitutions, a raft of substitutions that were being made as Dwight McNeil is on, and Shrewsbury are now leading against the 10 men of Crawley Town by a goal to nil in League Two. I've still got to rattle through the Championship scores for you. We've got about 3 minutes remaining, so I better get on with that here on 5 Live. Sports Report on its way. Manchester City, through those 2 Erling Haaland goals, are still leading by 2-0. Brighton 1, Newcastle 1, Burnley 2, Leeds United 0, Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth 2, Sunderland 1, Wolves 0 elsewhere in the Premier League, as a long throw comes in. But there's been another goal at Brighton. Chris Coles.
Brighton are back in front. Welbeck has scored again. Newcastle have been doing all the pushing, but Brighton on the counter-attack. Great block initially. Welbeck on the rebound. Sweeps it into the corner. Brighton 2, Newcastle 1.
Hibs 3, Livingston 0 is the latest score. Bristol Rovers have got a consolation at home as they're losing 4-1 against Tranmere Rovers, and we are up to date with the goals as they go in here on 5 Live. So in the Championship, the results earlier: Oxford beat Derby by a goal to nil, QPR 1, Millwall 2, and it finished goalless at St Mary's between Southampton and Swansea. The latest scores: Birmingham City 1, Hull City 2. That could be their first away win in the Championship this season for Hull. Birmingham are down to 10 men. Charlton lead struggling Sheffield Wednesday by 2 goals to 1. Coventry 2, Blackburn 0 as Haaland picks it up, rolls this into the path of Cherky, but coming back to help out was Dibbling. So Coventry City will remain the only English League side who are unbeaten, and they've scored 29 goals in the process, and they've also could be keeping 5 successive clean sheets. Frank Lampard, very, very impressive work that he's doing for the leaders of the Championship. Norwich 0, Bristol City 1. Sheffield United will climb off the bottom of the table to be replaced by Wednesday as they lead 1-0 against Watford at Bramall Lane. Stoke 1, Wrexham 0, West Bromwich Albion 2, Preston North End 1 is the latest score at the Hawthorns. Later on, Leicester against Portsmouth is a 7:45 kickoff. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, just watching for a moment there, Keane went up front. I'm thinking, where are you going for it here, David Moyes? But they were just holding the fort until he got back there. But it just shows that Everton haven't given up completely this game. But in the second half, and certainly since the first goal, just the first goal, not even the second, Everton have been slightly outclassed.
John Southall says it's been an absolute cracker at Selhurst Park, and it's delivered a 5th goal.
88 minutes played, Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth 3 on 5 Live last night. Ryan Christie has just swept in the goal that may take Bournemouth to the top of the Premier League. Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth 3.
Yep, Bournemouth will be going top. Arsenal, of course, will have that chance to respond in our next commentary at 5:30. at Craven Cottage. But a 5-goal thriller, and Ryan Christie, as Rangers have equalised late at home to Dundee United. Rangers 2, Dundee United 2 is the latest score, and here it remains 2-0 for Manchester City with those second half goals from Erling Haaland.
Yeah, and there's no reason why they should go and really chase it. They're playing quite nicely. You watch Pep Guardiola now, hands in the pockets, walking across. You know, he's pretending he's quite annoyed. In actual fact, he's quite comfortable at the moment. He knows his team have controlled this game. And to some degree, you've got to say there's been good game management here. They haven't exhausted themselves, but when they had to dial it up, they did dial it up. It was only for 10, 15, 20 minutes, but that was enough.
Whichever way you look at his statistics, they are frightening, they are impressive, and at times they are mind-boggling for the goal machine that is Erling Haaland. As we've got 7 minutes of added time here at the Etihad. Manchester City leading Everton by 2-0. And Pep Guardiola just happy to see his side come forward again as Ruhl dispossesses Cherki. Actually carries the ball forward, the German under-21 international. Barry has gone out wide on that left-hand side. Barry tries to come in between two City players, but then they lose the ball on the edge of that Manchester City penalty area, and then that'll be handball against Mykolenko. Let's get news of that Rangers equaliser from Ailey Barber.
Yeah, Rangers level thanks to some really good work down the right hand side from Mikey Moore, and he just laid it back into the path of captain James Tavernier, who smashed it into the back of the net. The right back has now scored 4 of Rangers' 7 league goals this season, and it's made it Rangers 2, Dundee United 2.
Jack Grealish here, watching on. Unable to play against his parent club, of course.
It's always a tricky one, you know, but I mean, I think he is well loved around here, what he's given for the club. And he can walk in here with head held high, although I don't think it's went as well as he wanted to in his Manchester City career. However, he is loving his time at Everton, and Everton have missed him this afternoon.
Everton, who return to action at home next Sunday against Tottenham, and then they've got games against Sunderland and Fulham. There's the ball up towards Foden. Haaland on a hat-trick. Haaland steadies himself. Pickford makes the save. The rebound could still come towards Haaland. Onto his left foot. That's blocked as well. Cherki! Wide. Took a deflection on its way through. Corner kick.
Do you know what? You can't believe he missed it. I mean, he's got a foot race with a centre-back. They're level. And then there's 6 yards between them in a heartbeat. He is absolutely incredible. When he gets going, no one can get near him for pace. I just get wonder about the film. Was he trying to get on his right foot so he could get a perfect hat-trick in that second time there? He gets the first shot away on target. The second shot is also on target. But he just couldn't beat Pickford.
Barnet 0, Notts County 1 is a latest score in League 2. So with an injury time winner, it would seem, for Notts County at Barnet. Barnet 0, Notts County 1. Corner kick for Manchester City. Over on that right-hand side, Foden to take it. Haaland gets the flick, and then the close-range header from Ruben Dias on its way through. Took another deflection, and a corner kick has been signalled by Tony Harrington. As we'll go to Molly Stevens in the rugby.
Well, what a dramatic finish here at Welford Road. Leicester have inflicted a first loss of the season on Bath, 22-20 at it ends. They denied them a chance to go back top of the Prem, and it was the boot of Billy Searle on the 80th minute that gave Leicester the win. Leicester Tigers 22, Bath Rugby 20.
Thank you, Molly. In injury time here at the Etihad, Bournemouth are going top of the Premier League. Ange Postecoglou sacked as the Nottingham Forest manager. They'll be the headlines at the top of Sports Report. Manchester City churning out yet another win, and Erling Haaland with 2 more goals as Everton clear the ball away, but Bernardo Silva, the substitute, will get there before Dibling slides in to retrieve it back. The hunger and the desire, early ball, Haaland goes round Pickford, takes himself very, very wide, and from the acutest of ankle tries to float it in, and it was drifting behind for a goal kick. I think actually Pickford and Haaland are sharing a joke between each other.
Yeah, I mean, Haaland came flying into the position there. His movement was brilliant. He could have trailed his leg and taken a penalty, but he didn't. He jumped over Pickford, but he ran the ball slightly too wide there. But, you know, his movement is like no one else's. He's got brilliant movement, but it's also faster than anyone else in the game by a long distance. It's when he switches it on, it's unreal.
Coventry City have got that victory. They've beaten Blackburn by 2-0. They are back top, 1 point clear of Middlesbrough, and we'll go to the northeast now. There's been a goal, Julia Bold.
It has. It's Sunderland 2, Wolves 0, as we are deep into additional time here. An own goal it looks to be chalked up to as well. It seems really unfair because Wolves have been battling in this second half, but yeah, it looks like Krejci own goal. Sunderland 2, Wolves 0.
Wolves still without a win, the only side in the top 5 leagues in England without a win this season, and they find themselves 5 points adrift of Burnley, who with that 2-0 scoreline at home to Leeds United will be climbing out of the relegation zone, and Nottingham Forest, who today sacked their manager, dropping in to the relegation zone after that 3-0 defeat to Chelsea. We've got under 2 minutes remaining. Haaland's got another chance. He's in round the back now. Haaland off his right foot again. Pickford denies him. Bob picks up the loose ball this time. That hat-trick goal might not come, it might now. Bob finds him. Haaland can't bring it under control, and no wonder he slumps to his knees in frustration.
You can just tell this whole place is about one story now, isn't it? It's about him getting his hat-trick. That's all he's tried to do in this second half. Since he got his second goal, nothing else in his mind. And also the players, his teammates, just keep on putting them in there. He just can't quite get it yet.
Good play by Foden, stopped by Tarkowski. Dibbling, a la Jack Grealish with his socks down by his ankles, brings the ball out forward up towards the halfway line. Dibbling's continued his run, but that was stopped by Mateus Nunes. The thing is, it ain't going to happen with the next 60 seconds for Erling Haaland, but he must have had, 4-5 chances?
Yeah, and I mean, good goalkeeping, but he would normally expect to get one of those, particularly the last two, 1-1 with the goalkeeper, and even a very good keeper like Pickford. You'd expect him to score one of them. He's not managed to do it, and he might even be mildly disappointed with only 2.
There is late drama at Selhurst Park, a penalty. John Southall.
96 minutes played and Crystal Palace have a penalty. Palace 2, Bournemouth 2. Gahey fouled by Diakate. The VAR looked at it for a long time. He's on a hat-trick. Jean-Philippe Mateta scored for France in the week on his French debut. Now has the chance to level things up here at Selhurst Park. Steps up, Mateta, and rolls it into the bottom left-hand corner. And Crystal Palace have got themselves a point, surely. Bournemouth won't be heading top. Palace 3, Bournemouth 3.
Crystal Palace 3, Bournemouth 3, and that means that Manchester City could be going top because the full-time whistle has sounded. 2 second-half goals from Erling Haaland sufficient. Manchester City 2, Everton 0. Pat.
Yep, pretty simple in the end for Manchester City. Not playing at the very, very best, but they hold the ball, they ask the questions, they wait for teams to tire mentally or physically. It was mentally this time. Down the left-hand side, cross in from O'Reilly. When Haaland scored that goal, the only question was how many would it be and how many would Haaland get? It's only a slight surprise they just got the 2. It should have been 3 and maybe even 4. But Man City beginning to cruise.
Latest scores around the country: St Mirren 0, Aberdeen 1, a 96th minute goal in Paisley for Aberdeen. Birmingham 1, Hull City 3, Accrington 4, Swindon 0, and a consolation for Crewe as they lost 3-1 at MK Dons, who made it 4 successive wins in League 2. Manchester City, though, continue with their winning groove after the international break, and it might only be for a couple of hours, but they're top of the Premier League after 2 goals from Haaland sees them beat Everton 2-0.